Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. Konoha, Homemade Eye Technique Plugin. Chapter 41. The major families and Junin who came around were a little confused by Sarutobi Hiruzen's appearance. Didn't they come to question the Uchiha clan just in the Hokage's office? Now it seems that we should believe whatever the Uchiha clan says. However, when everyone saw the Mangekyo Sharingan in Uchiha Fugaku's eyes, they all understood what was going on, and some knowledgeable old people even exclaimed softly. Hiss! Mangekyo Sharingan! Oh my god, that's the Mangekyo Sharingan that is said to be comparable to the wood-bending power of the first Hokage. According to legend, if the first-generation master didn't know Senjutsu, he might not be able to defeat Uchiha Madara's Mangekyo Sharingan. The surrounding ninjas listened to these old people's popular science, and stared at the pattern in Uchiha Fugaku's eyes that was different from Magatama with surprised expressions, and the voices of whispers could also be heard. I'm just going to tell you why the consultant chose to shrink back. It turns out that he is afraid of the power of the Mangekyo Sharingan. This is not the point. I think Chief Fugaku is right. Uchiha is one of the founding families of the village. There is no way he could betray Konoha. If Uchiha really betrayed, it must be because there was a rebellion in the village and he was released. Rumor. How come you think the Uchiha clan surrounded the base? Is there something shady in it? Hokage-sama is not easy to manage, and the Uchiha clan, as the village-building family, has a character that is fearless, so that's why I dared to go beyond the Hokage to deal with it. Most of the families in Konoha dared not speak out against Sarutobi Hiruzen and the senior officials. Sarutobi Hiruzen has always occupied the position of Hokage, and under various names, he has asked the ninjas of the major families to complete missions of narrow escape. However, his own family was well fed, and all important positions in the village were held by their senior family members. Especially the roots led by Shimura Danzo often draw elites from their families. After these elites from the family go to the roots, they are more loyal to Shimura Danzo, the leader of the roots, than to the family, and sometimes even harm the family. Benefits come to replenish the roots. Everyone is a discerning person, but they chose to swallow their anger because the senior officials of the third Hokage's family united to become powerful. Now that Uchiha is taking the lead, and with the Mangekyo Sharingan as the backing, those who are interested are starting to take action. They did not act blindly. Everyone was aware of the movements in the village during this period and guessed that the Hokage clan was preparing to attack the Uchiha clan. But from last night's attack on the Hokage's building, which allowed the enemy to flee, to today's attack on the base of the Uchiha clan, it is undoubtedly shown that the Hokage clan is at a disadvantage in this battle with the Uchiha clan. In the final analysis, the Uchiha clan is just a little arrogant. This is not an unforgivable shortcoming. As a ninja, people who are inferior to themselves have more or less these shortcomings, but they are more serious. But not all Uchiha are like this. Over the years since Konoha established the village, there are many who have formed deep friendships with Uchiha, as evidenced by Hatake Kakashi's Sharingan. In terms of fundamental interests, there is no conflict between Uchiha and major families. On the contrary, no matter how depressed this kind of wealthy family is, they still look down on their own resources. What they lack is the right to speak, and they are also eyeing the top management of Konoha. It has nothing to do with the family, but it can be used to break the monopoly of the top management of the Senju family, which is a shortcoming that has existed since the establishment of the village. Therefore, they naturally wanted to take this opportunity to expose some secrets, hoping to find out who were allies who were dissatisfied with the third Hokage and the senior officials. Sarutobi Hiruzen also heard the whispers of the family ninja behind him. After being the Hokage for so many years, he also knew what these people were planning, but he remained silent. As long as he was still the Hokage, no one would dare to move the interests of him and the Sarutobi clan. But Kaharu, who is the most restless among the senior management, does not think so. Her power comes from being a disciple of the second Hokage. She has a relationship with the third Hokage, and her foundation is unstable. Naturally, she cannot be high at this time. Hang high. Insolent. Uchiha Fugaku, we are the Hokage's advisors, but you actually define us as rebellious. Do you consider yourself the master of Konoha village? Do you regard Konoha as the private property of your Uchiha clan? Faced with Kaharu's distorted remarks, Uchiha Fugaku did not show any guilt at all and still retorted with righteousness. Oh, I just stated that the Uchiha clan is the founder of Konoha. Konoha is everyone's Konoha, and it is my Uchiha's Konoha. My Uchiha clan loves Konoha deeper than anyone else. And as one of the founding families of the village, we, the Uchiha clan, have a duty to eradicate rebellion in the village. You, on the other hand, are so eager to distort the facts to cover up something. It seems that you are also responsible for what Shimura Danzo did. Quote, Uchiha Fugaku is not a vegetarian. He has been the clan leader for so many years. Although he is a little forward-thinking and not decisive enough in political actions, it does not mean that he does not understand the twists and turns involved. Therefore, he responded with sharp words, not only expressing Uchiha's position to others present, but also pointing out that there was a reason for attacking the root base, and there were other tricks in the matter. Uchiha Fugaku not only frightened Koharu, but even Hiruzen Sarutobi couldn't sit still. As the Hokage and a good friend of Shimura Danzo, he knew how many shameful things he had done in the root base. It's over. Seeing Uchiha Fugaku's unscrupulous attitude, he must have some solid evidence. In order not to involve himself, he was even prepared to abandon this old friend when it was irreversible. Now that Koharu had jumped out to be a target again, it was naturally impossible for Sarutobi Hiruzen to let things continue to develop in an uncontrollable direction. Okay, Koharu, the Uchiha clan is also a part of Konoha, and the Uchiha clan is in charge of the Konoha security department and manages the security of the village, so it is understandable that they appear here. However, Chief Fugaku, now that I am here, your security department can hand over the matters here to Anbu. After all, the Anbu training base involves many secrets, and the security department still needs to avoid suspicion. Quote, Sarutobi Hiruzen was prepared to retreat in order to advance, to give Uchiha a step forward, to force them to let go of this matter and turn it to his Anbu to deal with it. This would not only suppress the matter, but also not expose the darkness at the root. Later, he could even use this to spread unfavorable remarks about Uchiha and arouse other ninjas' hostility towards Uchiha. Ahem, Chief Fugaku, Danzo is the root leader, and the Hokage is his assistant, have made great contributions in the past 3 ninja wars, and it is impossible to do anything detrimental to the village. We came here this time to investigate the attack on the Hokage building last night, and the attacker not only slaughtered many guarding ninjas, but also stole the Book of Sealing, and even possessed the Mangekyo Sharingan. Therefore, the Fugaku clan leader is asked to cooperate in the investigation to see if there are some ulterior motives among the Uchiha who want to sow discord between Uchiha and Konoha, so as to clear Uchiha's suspicion. Quote, seeing that Sarutobi Hiruzen was avoiding the important matter, he wanted to bring the topic to the attack on the Hokage building, and vaguely described Uchiha and Konoha as 2 individuals, placing the culprit on Uchiha's head, forcing the Uchiha clan to mediate the intention of the base away from the roots is very clear. He also secretly asked Uchiha to let the root go, and he would not pursue Uchiha's attack on the Hokage building as a compromise condition. Understanding the underlying meaning expressed by Sarutobi Hiruzen, Uchiha Fugaku felt speechless for a while, wondering if he had been too cautious in the past. The title of shinobi was all blown out. Maybe he only needed to turn on the kaleidoscope to sneak attack, that would be enough kill the opponent. But Sarutobi Hiruzen is still Hokage after all. Under the condition that Uchiha wants to become Hokage, facing the other party's pressure, Uchiha really can't refuse directly. However, the actions of Uchiha Minagawa and the others are not over yet, and with the strength of the 2 of them, Shimura Danzo and his roots alone are very likely to kill each other. If they don't calm things down completely now, I'm afraid that by then there will be bigger waves again. In order to prevent this drama from ending, and to prevent Hiruzen Sarutobi from getting his wish, Uchiha Fugaku decided to drop a bombshell directly. With so many people present, there is no shortage of families and ninjas with blood inheritance limits and unique secret techniques. As long as Shimura Danzo's crimes are exposed, I believe that even Sarutobi Hiruzen, the Hokage, will not be able to continue to persecute the Uchiha clan and protect Shimura. Danzo. HMPH, Hokage-sama, please don't forget that the Sharingan is not only owned by our Uchiha clan. Putting aside Hatake Kakashi, our action this time was because we found out that the root leader Shimura Danzo secretly killed our Uchiha. The tribe covets our Uchiha's blood-limited Sharingan, and even stole the secret technique of our Uchiha's Sharingan. What's even more crazier is that the previously missing Uchiha Shisui was assassinated by him in order to seize Shisui's Mangekyo Sharingan. Everyone present should know how Uchiha Shisui trusted him as the Hokage advisor, but he used our Uchiha's Sharingan secret technique to sneak attack on him. This is all something with conclusive evidence. His bandaged left the eye as Shisui's Mangekyo Sharingan. He thought he was hiding it well, but little did he know that the fluctuations of the Mangekyo Sharingan were like lights in the dark to us Uchiha. Not only that, his bandaged left hand was made from the cells of the First Lord, and it was also inlaid with several pairs of 3 Magatama Sharingan eyes. This was just on the surface, but secretly he was also plotting against me, Uchiha. There are so many people in the family, and I am afraid that the tragic situation of missing clan members and having their eyes gouged out on the battlefield and during missions is probably his fault. Quote, desecrating the first generation, experimenting on humans, coveting other people's bloodline limits, and assassinating companions in the village, these are just the things that we, the Uchiha clan, have discovered on the surface. Perhaps there is more darkness hidden at the root. So, I would like to ask, Hokage-sama, and everyone present, whether Danzo Shimura's behavior is harmful to Konoha. Quote, although the Uchiha clan and the Senju clan took the lead in the establishment of Konoha village, other families accounted for the majority in the entire Konoha village. Who can survive from the cruel era of the Warring States period and persist to this day? Who doesn't have some tricks to beat the odds, or blood inheritance limits, or unique secret techniques passed down from generation to generation? These abilities are the foundation of each family, the foundation. When the village was founded, under the joint witness of all the major families, it was agreed that their own inheritance should not be coveted. But now, Danzo Shimura, as a high-ranking member of Konoha, has taken the lead in breaking this rule, and was even criticized by the Uchiha clan in front of everyone. It was exposed without reservation, so even the Hokage could no longer keep the major families silent. This made Sarutobi Hiruzen no longer able to maintain his calm expression. With a pair of eyes full of rage, he wanted to stare Uchiha Fugaku in front of him to death. But Uchiha Fugaku didn't have the slightest consciousness that he was forcing his own Hokage, and he still went his own way. His pair of kaleidoscope Sharingan didn't even stop on Sarutobi Hiruzen, and he scanned the various secret arts families and blood-stained families in the crowd, especially staying on the Hyuga clan leader Hyuga Hazu for a long time, making Hyuga Hazu feel a little uncomfortable before he looked away. This act that can be called a clear statement made the major secret arts families and blood-stained families a little unable to sit still. Of course, they knew that this kind of coveting other people's family secret arts and blood inheritance boundaries had one problem and another, and they must do it. Stand up and strike resolutely as soon as you know something, so as to deter those who still have such thoughts. This is their foundation in this cruel ninja world. No matter you are the Hokage or a high-level representative of the village, it is impossible for them to give in on this matter, otherwise the consequences will be disastrous, especially for the Hyuga clan who also belong to the Aijutsu bloodstain. He was the first to jump out and speak out. Lord Hokage, you must severely punish this kind of behavior that harms your fellow villagers, otherwise everyone will be in danger. The one who spoke was Hinata Hazatsu. With his character, he would naturally not say anything harsh. It has to be said that the caged bird imprisoned not only the Hyuga branch family, but also the Hyuga clan who had not been imprinted with the caged bird curse seal. This kind of behavior that has been protected as a cherished animal for a long time has lost its spirit, and its character has become conservative and weak. Although Hyuga Hazashi did not show any dissatisfaction, after this happened, coupled with the death of his twin brother Hazashi 4 years ago, his disappointment with the senior management had reached the extreme. The same is true for other families. They can naturally understand that the Uchiha family dares to make such a big show of it and tell the matter in front of many families in Konoha. There must be solid evidence. As the Hokage, it was impossible for Hiruzen Sarutobi to be unaware of what Shimura Danzo was doing, but the other party still allowed Shimura Danzo to do so. Their families were probably just useful tools in the hearts of Konoha's top brass. How can we not give them chills? Yes, Lord Hokage, since the First Lord founded the village, Konoha's bottom line has always been to protect the juniors and companions. Even though Uchiha Madara, his close friend who co-founded Konoha village with the first generation, when he wanted to destroy this hard-won bond, the first generation still chose to kill his relatives for justice. But now, Assistant Danzo has completely crossed this bottom line. Regarding this kind of behavior, I hope the Hokage will not tolerate it. Quote, Lord Hokage, for a time, not only the family ninjas, but also the civilian ninjas who usually respected Sarutobi Hiruzen were also putting pressure on him, the Hokage. After all, Konoha village has continued to this day with the help of many families, and as a civilian ninja who is the grassroots force of Konoha, Sarutobi Hiruzen cannot ignore this fierce public opinion even if he is the Hokage. Sarutobi Hiruzen glared at Uchiha Fugaku, who was still joking. The current situation was very unfavorable to his senior officials. If he wanted to save Danzo Shimura, it would depend on whether Danzo had done what he had done. The tale is cleaned. Please rest assured, as Hokage, of course I will not let this happen. As far as I know, Assistant Danzo does not covet other people's blood inheritance limits. Although he also has the Sharingan, it is a precious legacy left by our friend Uchiha Mirror at the same time. Just like Kakashi back then, Assistant Danzo accepted the determination to protect Konoha on behalf of his best friend. Quote, moreover, Chief Fugaku, we can't believe your words. Are those human experiments and the guilt of killing Shisui really there? Why don't I, as the Hokage, know about it? Do you have conclusive evidence for slandering Danzo's assistant so much? If not, I will regard you Uchiha as provoking the entire Konoha. Sarutobi Hiruzen also knew that Shimura Danzo couldn't fool him without the Sharingan. Fortunately, he thought of Kakashi's incident and gave him inspiration. Sarutobi Hiruzen also took the risk and hid Shimura Danzo directly. The matter of possessing the Sharingan is defined as a gift from a friend. He personally goes out to cover for his old friend, and naturally no one else can say anything. Afterwards, as long as Danzo Shimura did not reveal other reasons, it would be defined as an oolong incident caused by Uchiha being too sensitive, or it could be defined as Uchiha deliberately slandering the village's senior officials with evil intentions. You know, in this ninja world, the subordination relationship between superiors and subordinates is still very serious. At that time, Uchiha could even be convicted. But this is also risky. If the Uchiha tribe finds more Sharingan in the root base, then Sarutobi Hiruzen's rhetoric will excuse Shimura Danzo. At that time, his reputation in the hearts of many ninjas will be his prestige would inevitably be affected. Hiruzen Sarutobi still believed in his old friend's ability to do things, so this was a very sure move. Facing Sarutobi Hiruzen's counter-general army, Uchiha Fugaku can't produce any evidence now, but he believes that Uchiha Minami will find conclusive evidence. If nothing else, just because he has invaded the root base, he must have some conclusive evidence before he dares to boast about Heiko. But now that it comes to this point, if Uchiha Fugaku does not produce evidence on the spot, Sarutobi Hiruzen will definitely use this to expose the matter, and it may also have a bad impact on Uchiha. Just as Uchiha Fugaku was racking his brains to continue stalling for time, a young voice came from the entrance to the root base. Do you want evidence, Lord Hokage, and everyone in the village? Take a look, this is the evidence. I saw many shaking figures appearing at the originally dark entrance to the root base. The one who spoke was Uchiha Itachi, who was the first to open the Mangekyo Sharingan. He was holding a person in one hand and a pale weapon in the other arm. As soon as he finished speaking, he came to the middle of the crowd and threw the humanoid thing in his hand directly in front of everyone. At this time, everyone finally recognized the person on the ground, who was Shimura Danzo, who was still talking about before. For a moment, everyone present couldn't help but admire this group of Uchiha who dared to go to him if something happened. He was a high-level consultant, the leader of the Root, a man known as the darkness of the ninja world, just because the Uchiha found out that the other party might have assassinated him. They dared to rush directly into the opponent's territory, beat people to death and drag them out to whip their corpses. It seems like you must not push these lunatics like Uchiha into a hurry in the future, otherwise they will do anything. This is the most real thought in everyone's mind at this time. How dare you attack the village leaders directly? What happened to Danzo's assistant? Seeing that their old friend's head was drooping and his face was covered in blood, Hiruzen Sarutobi, Mito Kadoin, and Kaharu, who had transferred to the dormitory, immediately started shouting anxiously. Sarutobi Hiruzen and his party hurried forward, and after checking, they became even more angry. They raised their heads and looked at the Uchiha people with hatred on their faces, gritting their teeth and saying every word. You Uchiha clan, you dared to kill the village's top leaders. You are rebelling against the village. Everyone, obey the order and take down. Seeing that Sarutobi Hiruzen was anxious, he wanted to take advantage of the fact that the matter was still unclear and coerce many ninjas to attack the Uchiha clan without giving them a chance to defend themselves. Although not all ninjas are loyal to the orders of Sarutobi Hiruzen, the Hokage, he is the Hokage after all. As long as he gives the order, everyone cannot shirk it even if he takes action, and once he takes action, things will become unstoppable. Uchiha also became nervous for a moment, but at this moment, Uchiha Itachi threw the other arm directly out, and with his superb shuriken technique, it happened to land on the severed arm of Shimura Danzo's corpse. At a glance, anyone with a discerning eye would know that the original threads and seams were cut from the corpse. When everyone looked at this arm, they all froze in place. Even Sarutobi Hiruzen, who had looked angry just now, became stiff. Just because, this pale arm is still inlaid with several wide-open 3 Magatama Sharingan eyes, and this arm also shows obvious woodiness. This immediately confirmed what Uchiha Fugaku had just said. Of course, everyone could not accept it for a while. They did not expect that the senior officials in the dignified village would actually do something so outrageous to both humans and gods. As if everyone wasn't amazed enough, Uchiha Minami also walked up with a seal scroll at Uchiha Itachi's signal. After unlocking the seal of the storage scroll, glass bottles soaked in Sharingan appeared directly in front of everyone, especially the eye in one of the nutrition bottles that was different from the ordinary Sharingan pattern, with a trace of bright red on it. At a glance, you can tell where it was just taken from. Looking at Danzo Shimura's empty left eye, the answer is self-evident. Before everyone could react, it was Uchiha Shisui's Mangekyo Sharingan. Another Uchiha tribesman came up with a large stack of information, and handed it out one by one to everyone, including Sarutobi Hiruzen. In this information, various experimental records shocked everyone. Not only did they contain data from many human experiments, there were also experimental records of the fusion of children and the first-generation Hokage's wooden cells. What is shocking is that this fusion experiment used the survival rate of children in the village as almost zero. When we think of Orochimaru, one of the 3 ninjas, who was convicted of Konoha due to human experimentation, one cannot help but think that Orochimaru is just a scapegoat, while the real protector is Danzo Shimura, who has always been at the top. Everyone also felt a chill at the darkness in the village. Another piece of information is a study of various blood inheritance limits and secret techniques. There are many blood inheritance limits and secret techniques in the village. These blood inheritance limits and secret techniques in the village are not difficult to see from the records. Comes from elite members whose roots are drawn from major families. Seeing the various criminal evidence recorded in it, everyone instantly burst out in disbelief. I didn't expect that Genbu was doing forbidden experiments. I'm afraid it was Shimura Danzo who ordered Orochimaru to conduct human experiments. He also used villagers and ninjas in the village to conduct experiments, and even directly used children for experiments. It's simply too crazy. That's not all, they also blasphemed the first generation. I wonder how they obtained the wood escape cells. Did they steal the first generation's body? This is too abominable. You fool, you actually contributed your own secret skills to the root. Are these people the ninjas of the family, or are they the loyal dogs of Danzo Shimura? Suddenly, everyone began to condemn these crimes, and those ninjas from the family did not have the slightest scruple to call Danzo Shimura by name, which made Sarutobi Hiruzen look ugly. Sarutobi Hiruzen also knew that his plan to seize the opportunity to take down the Uchiha clan had completely come to naught. Coupled with his previous protection of Shimura Danzo, their group of Konoha senior officials may have been labeled as accomplices by everyone. The top priority is to put all the blame on the dead Shimura Danzo, completely draw a clear line with the other party, and ensure the prestige of the top management. Ignoring the situation, they silently left the scene. Kaharu and Mitokado, who were hiding in the distance, stood up and loudly announced to everyone. Danzo Shimura, the former assistant to the Hokage and the leader of the root, deceived the Hokage, relied on his power, deliberately killed his fellow villagers, coveted the boundaries and secrets of other people's blood inheritance, desecrated the first Hokage, and conducted human experiments in private, which was extremely vile in nature. Fortunately, the Uchiha Security Department found out the truth and the evidence was conclusive. He encountered strong resistance during the arrest and was killed on the spot. Quote, "Here, in the name of Hokage, I remove Shimura Danzo from his position as Hokage's assistant and root leader, deprive each other of his identity as a Konoha ninja, and treat him as a Konoha sinner." Sarutobi Hiruzen's words were very cold and ruthless. Not only did he deprive Shimura Danzo of all his reputation, he also listed him as a Konoha sinner and even took out himself, saying that all the other parties' actions were to deceive him, the Hokage. I wonder if Danzo Shimura and Izumi Yuichi will regret taking the blame for this friend all the time. This was also Sarutobi Hiruzen's helpless move. Originally, the major families had long been dissatisfied with Sarutobi Hiruzen's behavior of controlling the power of the Hokage for many years. Even when the fourth Hokage took office, he still dictated and sat in the Hokage's office, and did not transfer the Anbu power in his hands. In addition, with his support, Shimura Danzo continued to poach elite clan members from various major families. On the surface, he served the village better, but in fact, he became Shimura Danzo's personal tool, which aggravated the situation even more. Of this dissatisfaction, "That's fine. As long as they serve the village and the family can gain honor, they will acquiesce. But now, instead of making contributions to the family and Konoha, these clan members are actually digging into the foundation of the family and Konoha. This, how can you bear it? The resentment towards the higher-ups in my heart has reached its peak." Therefore, in order to continue to gain the support of various families and maintain the interests and status of the top leaders, Sarutobi Hiruzen had to completely classify Shimura Danzo as a sinner. Only by punishing Shimura Danzo more severely can these ninjas relieve their resentment and prove that this matter has nothing to do with him as the Hokage. Now we must calm down this turmoil as soon as possible to avoid making more remarks that are not conducive to the top management, as well as the Uchiha clan. I didn't expect that they could suppress Danzo and his roots in such a short period of time. Look, the masked man who invaded the Hokage's building is among these people. While Sarutobi Hiruzen was calculating in his mind, murderous intent burst out in his eyes. After searching among the Uchiha people at the scene, he immediately found Uchiha Minami, the youngest Uchiha except Uchiha Itachi. This is also Uchiha Nanhei's negligence. After all, he is a time traveler. Since he recovered his memory, he has spontaneously stopped treating himself as a child. But here, the Uchiha clan that appears are all people with double Magatama or above, and to cultivate the Sharingan to this level, one must either have strong talent or rely on years of experience. This kind of talent is also very rare in the history of the Uchiha clan. Naturally, the clan members with double Magatama and above who appear here are older, and Uchiha Minami and Uchiha Itachi are highlighted. But Uchiha Itachi has a reputation as a genius throughout Konoha, but Uchiha Nanga is still a student at the ninja school and is unknown, but he appears here, and Sarutobi Hiruzen spots him at the first sight. Thinking back to Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi of the same era, one can't help but think that Uchiha Nanga is also a genius like them. However, after thinking about it carefully, Sarutobi Hiruzen found that he knew very little about this Uchiha boy. I only know that his current identity is still a ninja school student. But how could a ninja school student participate in such a war? Is he another young genius like Shisui and Itachi? It's very possible that he is the Mangekyo Uchiha who slipped through the net. He obviously activated the Mangekyo Sharingan, but chose to keep a low profile. If he hadn't discovered this crisis, I'm afraid it wouldn't have been exposed. As expected, Uchiha are a group of hidden dangers that cannot be controlled. With such deep thoughts at such a young age, they will definitely bring huge hidden dangers to the stability of Konoha in the future. But fortunately, children are children and do not act thoughtfully enough. Like Shisui, he naively believed that attacking the root base and the Hokage building would divert conflicts and stop the village's plan. It's ridiculously naive, maybe it can be put to some use. Quote, Sarutobi Hiruzen took a deep look at Uchiha Nanga, and was ready to calm down the situation at the scene before going back to let the Anbu investigate. As everyone knows, at this time, Uchiha Minagawa is no longer afraid of being exposed. No one in Konoha can threaten him. He is just afraid of powerful old silver coins like Six Paths Sage. The genocide incident involves too many things. The Uchiha clan can be said to be the last bloodline family left by the Six Paths Sage in the world. The other bloodline families are almost exterminated, with only a few scattered members left. Coupled with the reincarnation of his son, the savior of this life, Uchiha Sasuke, this incident had a great impact on his growth. The old silver coin of the Sage of Six Paths is likely to be concerned, and Uchiha Minagawa naturally does not dare to show up at this time. Now, Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Fugaku have been changed by Uchiha Minami, and the night of genocide will definitely never happen again. It is impossible for the Sage of Six Paths to pay attention to this place all the time. Naturally, Uchiha Minami is no longer so afraid of being exposed. But Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't know all this. He thought that Uchiha Nanga was as innocent as Uchiha Shisui, but unlike Shisui, he didn't want to participate in the struggle between his family and the village, so he tried his best to hide himself. If the danger of annihilation was not so close and he had no choice but to do so, he might never have been exposed. This is probably the main reason why the Uchiha clan, despite having 3 pairs of Mangekyo Sharingan, uncharacteristically did not choose to launch a coup directly, but instead reached a tacit understanding of peace with senior officials like them. This kind of innocent and powerful Uchiha, in the eyes of Sarutobi Hiruzen, is very easy to control. As long as he targets his weaknesses of being afraid of trouble and being naive, he can be forced step by step to the point where he has to take action. When the time comes, using him can also achieve the effect of Uchiha Itachi. Thinking that he knew the reason why Uchiha did not completely break up with Konoha this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen also let go of his worries about Uchiha. Although he thought of a follow-up plan to deal with the Uchiha clan, after seeing that the relationship between the Uchiha clan and other families and ninjas had eased after this incident, Sarutobi Hiruzen still did not give up the policy of dividing them. Everyone, I didn't expect Danzo Shimura to do so many outrageous things without telling me. This is my dereliction of duty as Hokage, but please rest assured that the village will compensate all victims. In addition, we would also like to thank the Uchiha Security Department for uncovering the black sheep in the route and saving the village huge losses. Quote, in view of the great contribution of the Uchiha clan this time, as the 3rd Hokage, I hereby announce that the current residents of Uchiha will remain unchanged, and the original Uchiha clan land in the center of the village will be reallocated to the Uchiha clan as a reward. Hearing that there was such a beautiful thing, the surrounding Uchiha people also cheered one by one. You know, after the Nine Tails Rebellion, the Uchiha clan was reluctantly relocated to its current location on the edge. Now, not only has this spacious settlement on the edge of the village been retained, but the original location in the center of the village can also be taken back. Clan land, why not let them be happy? That's great, it's the center of the village. I don't have to run so far to do anything anymore. Yes, that's the clan land allocated by our Uchiha when we founded the village. Of course, the location is the best. That's great. My grandfather will be very happy to be able to return to his former clan land. Quote. Seeing the joyful look of everyone in Uchiha, Sarutobi Hiruzen also showed a meaningful smile. But Uchiha Fugaku frowned. How could he not see that this was Sarutobi Hiruzen's conspiracy? That is the center of the village. It originally belonged to the Uchiha clan. Now it is given back to you. Do you want it or not? You must know that since the Nine Tails Rebellion, that piece of clan land has been used by the higher-ups to win over other clans and potential ninjas and allocated it to them. Now if the Hokage says a word, you will take it without hesitation. Naturally it would offend those families and ninjas. His reputation, which had finally improved, would take a turn for the worse, and his estrangement from the village would become aggravated again. This was entirely a decision to sever himself from Konoha. What if you don't want it? Then he, the clan leader, can't explain it to other people in the family. You must know that not all clan members can think of this level. Even if they think of it, facing such a good geographical location, and that many generations of people have struggled within this place, no matter whether it is to comfort the ancestors or their arrogant character, it is impossible to choose to give in. Uchiha Fugaku also had to sigh at the brilliance of Sarutobi Hiruzen's conspiracy. For a moment, he was caught in a dilemma. Seeing this, Uchiha Nanhi had to stand up. Although he had previously thought of hiding himself and pretending to be a pig to eat the tiger, when Sarutobi Hiruzen observed him, Uchiha Nanhi realized that because of his age, it's exposed, so as long as you don't act too evil, you don't have to hide it anymore. Thank you, Hokage-sama. Although Hokage-sama allocated that place to us, the Uchiha clan, we very much want to return to our former clan land. But after all, there are still so many companions in the village living there. As a member of Konoha, we also need to think about everyone. Quote, in this case, we don't want to make things difficult for Hokage-sama. We only need to take back a small number of houses and provide them to those clansmen who are in urgent need. As for other houses, you don't need to move them. We can rent them to you at a price lower than the market price. I hope everyone can understand it. Seeing that someone among the Uchiha stood up and accepted the reward, Sarutobi Hiruzen was very happy. When he saw that this Uchiha was Uchiha Minami, he even showed an expression of appreciation, thinking in his heart that he was worthy of being an innocent Uchiha like you. But then Uchiha Minagawa's arrangements for the house caught Sarutobi Hiruzen a little off guard, and his expression darkened accordingly. How could Sarutobi Hiruzen not see that this was just Uchiha Nanga's strategy of retreating in order to advance? It seems that Uchiha Nanga gave up all the clan land that he should have obtained, but the fact is that the Uchiha clan has long been accustomed to the current location. Unless necessary, that land belongs to the family, and not many people are willing to do so. Move it around again and again. In this way, the stubborn people in Uchiha who insisted on moving were appeased, and the spare houses could be rented out on the spot, making a lot of money without offending those people. More importantly, this did not offend the people who lived there, but also transferred the grievances of having to pay the rent to the Hokage who made this decision but did not settle them well. I'm afraid there is a deeper conspiracy in this. As long as the Uchiha clan is not stupid, I am afraid they will arrange for those Uchiha clansmen with relatively gentle personalities to move to the clan area in the center of the village and live mixed with the people who originally lived there, so that more people will realize the changes in Uchiha. This reduces the barriers with the village and establishes new bonds. It seems that my previous naive judgment of this kid was wrong. How can I be an innocent kid? He is obviously cunning, but he can easily resolve the dilemma that even Uchiha Fugaku can't deal with. It seems that the plan to win over him is now only can be stillborn. Although he seemed to be an Uchiha who was afraid of trouble and wanted stability, the other party's heart was still towards Uchiha, and the weight of Konoha in the other party's heart was probably very low. From this point of view, the Uchiha are now completely out of control, and Tsunade and Jiraiya must be recalled as soon as possible, which can not only stabilize the people of the village, but also suppress the ambitions of the Uchiha clan, and have the power to fight when necessary. Quote, while Sarutobi Hiruzen was thinking about it, he also began to re-examine this newly emerged Mangekyo Sharingan boy, and the fear in his eyes became even more intense. Haha, it's true that a hero comes out of a boy. I remember your name is Uchiha Nanga, a graduating student of the ninja school, right? Unexpectedly, he was so good at such a young age. When he turned on the Mangekyo Sharingan, he was able to handle things flawlessly. As the Hokage, I am really pleased to see such outstanding juniors appear in the village at this age. I believe that the Uchiha clan can be glorious for decades under your leadership. Quote, when the surrounding families heard the news, they all had strange expressions on their faces and looked at the young man who was still in the ninja school. Many families even showed a hint of fear. After all, Konoha is only that big. The Uchiha clan has 3 pairs of Mangekyo Sharingan so far. This shows how powerful the Uchiha clan is. With their previous character, they would harm the interests of other families even if they were Uchiha clan. Bo looked down upon their little family background, but when he thought about having to bow his head in front of Uchiha in the future, he couldn't accept it honestly. But before Uchiha Minagawa could resolve another transferred target, Sarutobi Hiruzen, who had done his best, did not give him a chance to continue speaking, and directly gave orders to the surrounding ninjas. Okay, that's it for today. Everyone, please leave. The rest of the matter will be left to the Anbu to handle. What happened here today will be kept confidential, especially not let other villages know. After all, Shimura Danzo was previously responsible for external infiltration and espionage work. Once other villages learn about the root destruction, some unfavorable turmoil will inevitably arise for the village. In addition, the security department please continue to make the decision to patrol the village. At this juncture, the enemy's spies must not be able to find any loopholes. Quote, everyone was a little dissatisfied with the third Hokage exposing the matter like this, but due to the identity of the other Hokage and the culprit Shimura Danzo being dealt with, they dispersed one after another. Although everyone has acquiesced to this approach, the seeds of distrust of the top management have been planted. This temporary expedient will eventually explode one day, and all it needs is a fuse to explode. When leaving, some families even nodded to Uchiha Fugaku in front of a group of senior officials. Obviously, this was not only the goodwill released by the major families after this incident, but also the goodwill released by the major families to Uchiha after this incident. Expressed dissatisfaction. Sarutobi Hiruzen could only choose to acquiesce to this behavior, but his murderous intention towards Uchiha became even stronger, and he also felt dissatisfied with the major families. He secretly decided to find an opportunity to strike a blow, just like the Hyuga clan before, generally. Really, you're going to give me eye drops on other families and Uchiha Fugaku? Sarutobi Hiruzen, you are a real dog. Uchiha Nanga was very depressed. Faced with this kind of smiling tiger, he was really calculating every step and was frightened. Unexpectedly, in the end, Sarutobi Hiruzen did not forget to expose the information that he had the Mangekyo Sharingan to let other families fear, thereby dividing the Uchiha clan. The reason why these families accepted Sarutobi Hiruzen's arrangement so quickly must be related to this information. He even flattered himself, undermined Uchiha Fugaku's prestige as the clan leader, and wanted to create conflicts within Uchiha. Turning around, he saw that there was no strange color on Uchiha Fugaku's face. Uchiha Nanga couldn't help but admire the clan leader. At least this man was really big-bellied. Under the leadership of Uchiha Fugaku, the Uchiha clan quickly returned to the Uchiha station. As soon as he came back, Uchiha Fugaku informed people to go to Nanga Shrine to lift the alert, and notified the news of Uchiha's victory. The clan members who stayed behind were naturally very happy. After arranging matters within the clan, announcing that the clan meeting would be held tomorrow, they dismissed everyone, and then brought Uchiha Nanhi and Uchiha Itachi to the study. After the three of them took their seats, Uchiha Fugaku got straight to the point. This is a good start. Danzo Shimura, who was most targeting us, is dead, and the prestige of Sarutobi Hiruzen and other senior officials has also suffered a huge blow. However, after all, the other party has been Hokage for so many years. This blow cannot shake the other party's status. What is even more uncontrollable is that when he cannot control the situation, he is likely to recall Tsunade and Jiraiya, or even abdicate directly. It is possible to pass the position of Hokage directly to one of them. We can't accept that he just retreated like this, and we can't give up the good situation we finally created to others. I think other families are afraid of our Uchiha clan, but they don't want to see the new Hokage, still in the Senju clan. Be born in. Who doesn't have a dream of becoming a Hokage? With such a high level of monopoly at the top, other families have been forced to remain humble and small, which is even more difficult to accept than our Uchiha clan being the Hokage. Quote, therefore, the chance of our Uchiha clan taking up the position of Hokage is still quite high. Therefore, I decided that the next actions of our Uchiha clan will be mainly to win over other families. In order not to arouse Sarutobi Hiruzen's alert, Nanhi, you should handle this matter. No matter in terms of strength or mind, you are the best choice. I wonder what you think. Quote, Uchiha Fugaku analyzed the current situation and asked Uchiha Nanga for his opinion. As for Uchiha Itachi, when the other party has done so many stupid things, as the clan leader, he is already worried about whether the other party can continue to be the pride of Uchiha. No more hope. The big one is gone, so it is more promising to train Sasuke, the alt. As a father, he can still keep the opponent as an Uchiha thug. Uchiha Nanga pondered for a while, and now a short-term balance has been formed between Uchiha and Konoha's top management, but this cannot make Sarutobi Hiruzen give up his guard against the Uchiha clan. Therefore, no matter how covert they act, in this tense situation, they will definitely touch Hiruzen Sarutobi's fragile nerves. Taking 10,000 steps back, even if Uchiha relied on 3 pairs of Mangekyo Sharingan to prevent others from being affected, he could kill Sarutobi Hiruzen and all the senior officials in a sneak attack and take over Konoha. However, the Uchiha clan is full of people with high ambitions but low abilities, and there are simply not a few people who can stand alone. At that time, if you want Konoha to continue to stand in the ninja world, you must rely on other families. It's not that you can't tolerate people from other families getting involved in power, but as a wealthy family in the village, someone has become the Hokage, but there are few close relatives as helpers. Isn't this just like the emperors who were ignored in the previous life? After all, Konoha is still dominated by family ninjas, and there are only a few geniuses among civilian ninjas. However, without the support of the family, even if they occupy a high position, they are still at the mercy of others. They are as powerful as Orochimaru and Namikaze Minato. This is also true. Orochimaru is one of the 3 ninjas and a direct disciple of the 3rd Hokage. All his privileges in Konoha actually come from his teacher Hiruzen Sarutobi. That was why he, who had such outstanding achievements, lost to Namikaze Minato, who was a generation younger than him, in the competition for the position of Hokage. The reason lies in the fact that he does not have a firm supporter behind him. This is probably one of the reasons why he later established the Otogakur village. On the other hand, Namikaze Minato, despite the competition from the 4th Hokage, successfully obtained the position of Hokage because of the hand-picked appointment of the 3rd Hokage. Similarly, because there is no other firm support, even if he becomes the 4th generation Hokage, the 3rd generation Hokage can intervene at any time, without his own real power, and becomes a puppet Hokage. Therefore, instead of continuing to aggravate the fear of other families and senior officials, it is better to give in and buy time to sort themselves out and strengthen the clan's capabilities in all aspects other than force. As for maintaining relationships with other families, there is no need to be so deliberate. As long as you express Uchiha's tolerant attitude and reveal the filth of high-level officials, it is enough to gain the support of most families and ninjas. In the case of righteousness, it is natural that the position of Hokage falls to the Uchiha family. Thinking of this, Uchiha Nanhi organized his remarks and said, "Under the current situation, no matter how covert our actions are, it will touch the nerves of Konoha's top brass, so it is best not to win over the major families. However, we can release our Uchiha attitude to the outside world. As long as we show that we can jointly govern Konoha with those families, when they see no hope of promotion of power in the village, they will naturally choose to support us as the leader of." Quote. Of course, they can also bind the Thousand Hands lineage like pig, deer and butterfly to gain enough say. But judging from the current situation where the roots are exposed, I am afraid that even Zhu Ludi, who has always been closely related to the Senju family, cannot tolerate being the victim of others. Now he probably has other thoughts. After all, the other party there is the Nara clan known as the Brain Trust. Quote. Therefore, the top priority is to sort out the problems within our Uchiha clan and unify the family's ideas. We cannot be divided into various factions like before. The key to changing the relationship between the family and the village is to change the clan's overly arrogant behavior. As long as this shortcoming is changed, when the security department enforces the law, everyone in the village will naturally see the changes in Uchiha, and they will naturally slowly accept the Uchiha clan. In addition, it is best for tribesmen sent to the central tribe to choose tribesmen who are gentle and sociable, so that in the long-term coexistence, they can subtly change the image of Uchiha in others' minds that is difficult to get along with. Quote. Finally, we need to strengthen the clan's non-combat capabilities, such as soft power such as administrative management. Otherwise, even if our Uchiha clan ascends to the position of Hokage, we will fall into the embarrassing situation of no one in the clan being qualified for the position of confidant. When these are almost done, the senior officials will no longer be so guarded against us. Then we can spread the evidence of Sarutobi Hiruzen and the senior officials in the village. When they come forward to clarify or attack, it will be us. When uniting the major families to bring them down. Quote. After describing the countermeasures, Uchiha Fugaku and Uchiha Itachi both had expressions of admiration on their faces, staring at Uchiha Nanga as if they were looking at aliens. Although people in the ninja world are generally precocious, they tend to be precocious and often do not consider things thoughtfully enough. However, Uchiha Nanga has completely broken this restriction. At the age of 11, he can consider all aspects of things and even do things for himself. The patriarch, who has been in a high position for many years, checked for leaks and filled in the gaps as if he were a god descending to earth. How could they not be admired and surprised by the two of them? In fact, under the previous instigation of Sarutobi Hiruzen, Uchiha Fugaku also knew that it was Sarutobi Hiruzen's conspiracy and did not show any abnormality on the surface, but in his heart he had some violations of Uchiha Minga's behavior. In fact, there is still some grudge. But in order for Uchiha to finally get better, Uchiha Fugaku still followed the responsibilities of a clan leader and endured it. If necessary, he could continue to endure it. Now it seems that I judged a gentleman with a villain's heart. I didn't expect that at that time, Lord Nanhi was already a master of wisdom. He thought wholeheartedly about his family and the village, and had already planned his next actions. The plan is that perhaps letting him take on the position of clan leader would be more conducive to the development of Uchiha than me as the clan leader. Thinking of this, Uchiha Fugaku made up his mind. If it's as Sarutobi Hiruzen said, Nanga-kun is truly a boy born from a hero. Whether it's in terms of strength or in terms of intelligence and character, you are so much better than me. I think you are more suitable to be the leader of this clan. At tomorrow's clan meeting, I will pass on the position of clan leader to you. Hearing that Uchiha Fugaku was going to give up the position of clan leader to him, Uchiha Minami became a little anxious. He seemed to be powerful now, but in fact he relied on the Mangekyo Sharingan and the Senshi body. Many ninjas need to master the basics. There is still something lacking, so he is not willing to waste time on those trivial matters. No, I'm still too young now. I can't think carefully about many things. I have to play against so many old foxes, and I'm even more incapable of doing so. So please don't have such thoughts anymore, Mr. Weasel. Uchiha Fugaku thought about it, and it was indeed as Uchiha Nanga said. If he were to become the clan leader, his current age and achievements would not be enough to convince all the clansmen. In the future, he would definitely be oppressed by those clansmen who rely on their elders. The position of patriarch will become a constraint for him. Not to mention that the contact with other families is not underestimated. You can't open the Mangekyo Sharingan first to shock everyone when you meet them. The Mangekyo Sharingan can't withstand such consumption. Therefore, he stopped mentioning this matter and continued to discuss the follow-up arrangements for Uchiha. The next day, at the Uchiha Nanga shrine, a group of Uchiha surrounded a young man in the center, and the sound of conquest echoed through the shrine. Obviously, the boy surrounded in the center was Uchiha Itachi, and the reason for the crusade was that the other party had killed dozens of clan members before. At this time, Uchiha Fugaku, as the clan leader, stood on the high platform with a serious face without saying a word, and handed over the power to handle Uchiha Itachi to the clan members for joint discussion. This is also the helplessness of the clan leader. Even when facing his own son, for the sake of the stability of the family, he cannot directly order to forgive Uchiha Itachi's behavior for selfish reasons. He can only plead for mercy as a father when necessary. Uchiha Nanga also stood quietly behind Uchiha Fugaku. Because he opened the Mangekyo Sharingan, he was considered the hope of Uchiha by his tribe. Now his status is naturally different from what it used to be. He is also qualified to stand on a high platform. No need look up to others again. Although Uchiha Nanga attaches great importance to Uchiha Itachi's force, in the end, this is Uchiha Itachi's own choice. No matter who it is, he should bear the responsibility for the wrong things he has done to him. However, what Uchiha Minagawa and Uchiha Fugaku didn't expect was that when everyone was united in attacking Uchiha Itachi, Uchiha Setsuna, the representative of the martial arts faction, would be the first to stand up and speak for Uchiha Itachi. Fellow tribesmen, please listen to me. This shout made all the clansmen fall silent and all stared at Setsuna Uchiha, who had been preaching Uchiha supremacy. I understand everyone who has been hurt by their family members, but Uchiha Itachi was deceived by the third Hokage and other senior officials. He did not do such a thing voluntarily. Everyone watched him grow up, and he was once a member of the family. Pride and hope, I believe everyone knows how talented and sensible Uchiha Itachi was as a child. He was bewitched by the third Hokage and the others. I believe everyone is aware of the rejection we have suffered over the years. Uchiha Itachi joined the Anbu of the third Hokage in order to build a bridge of communication between Uchiha and the village. But the senior officials, led by the third Hokage, do not want to leave us Uchiha a way out, they just want to kill us all. In this complicated situation, Uchiha Itachi plays the role of fighting for Uchiha's right to speak among the village's senior officials. Mission. It was also under this circumstance that the third Hokage saw through Itachi's identity, bullied him because he was young and lacked knowledge of things, instilled the will of fire, and distorted the fact that our Uchiha clan is an unstable factor in the village, thus beguiling him to treat us Uchiha the Bo clan takes action. Everyone here should understand the relationship between family and individuals. If someone asks you to betray the family, there may be some people who betray for the sake of profit. But if you are asked to massacre your relatives and friends just because of an idea, will you still agree? You all probably won't agree. That's because you already have the most basic values, but Uchiha Itachi is too young and he doesn't know, so he gave the senior management a chance. However, in the end, under Uchiha Nanga's explanation, Uchiha Itachi finally woke up from the lies spun by the top management, pulled back from the brink, and informed us of the information about Konoha's top management and the masked man who framed our Uchiha clan. Without him, we were attacked and exterminated last night by the Anbu sent by Konoha's high-level officials, and it is even more impossible to counter-kill Shimura Danzo and his roots. Quote. So, please forgive Itachi when you see that he is young and ignorant and has made such great achievements. Of course, the clan will also compensate the victims. After Uchiha Setsuna finished speaking with a sincere expression, the surrounding Uchiha tribesmen felt a little mixed in their hearts for a moment. Some were surprised that Uchiha suddenly changed his attitude to speak up for Uchiha Itachi, and some were angry and resentful that Uchiha Itachi trusted the village's top officials so much. Of course, there were also those who were unwilling to accept it and still hated Uchiha Itachi. For a time, the Uchiha clan members below also started talking among themselves. Some agreed with Setsuna Uchiha's views, some cursed the village's senior officials for being inappropriate, and some cried bitterly and refused to accept it. Seeing all this, Uchiha Fugaku, as Uchiha Itachi's father, could no longer remain a bystander. Ahem, fellow tribesmen, Uchiha Fugaku coughed loudly, attracting everyone's attention. As the father of Uchiha Itachi, I have failed to teach my son well. I would like to apologize to all my clan members and to all the victims and their families. Our family is willing to bear any compensation needed. As a father, please forgive me for being selfish. I also want to explain Itachi's situation here to ask for your forgiveness. Itachi was born in my clan leader's family. As a young clan leader, he had to work hard to revitalize the family since he was a child. He went to war at the age of 4. Even in a peaceful village, he did not have the childhood of other children, and he had to carry out various tasks for many years. This kind of cultivation is why he has such fame at a young age. Later, in order to establish communication channels with the village, he joined the Anbu at the age of 10 and participated in various dangerous missions. This also makes the family's teachings to him tend to focus on strength, but there is less time to teach him in other aspects. This led to Sarutobi Hiruzen taking advantage of the situation and easily instilling many views that were unfavorable to the family, thus causing the crimes he committed today. Quote. So, I beg you very much. I hope that you can look at my dedication as the clan leader for so many years and forgive Uchiha Itachi. My family and I are willing to spend our lives repaying the harm I have caused to you. Please. Quote. After saying that, Uchiha Fugaku knelt down facing the clan members, pressing his head firmly on the ground. His attitude was very sincere. Seeing the clan leader being so humble, all the Uchiha tribesmen gradually became silent. Even those whose family members died at the hands of Uchiha Itachi looked at Uchiha Fugaku, who was kneeling in confusion. You know, since the Third Ninja War, Uchiha Fugaku led the Uchiha clan to resist the attack of the entire Kurigakure village. Uchiha Fugaku has established a very high prestige in the clan. This is why Uchiha Fugaku can be in the family. The reasons for being able to suppress rebellion despite suffering so many injustices. In addition, Uchiha Fugaku has now been revealed to have the Mangekyo Sharingan, and in this genocide, he led his tribe not only to save the Uchiha clan, but also to kill the culprit Shimura Danzo. Even with the assistance of Itachi's other 2 pairs of Mangekyo Sharingan, he had to admit his achievements as a leader. Therefore, under such circumstances, Uchiha Fugaku was still a very competent and respectable leader in the eyes of the clan. But when the head of his family begged to this extent for the sake of his son, even the victim was at a loss. Finally, an old woman finally stood up and relaxed. The patriarch doesn't need to be like this. I can live to this age mostly because of the protection of my family. Since the patriarch and the clan members have given the reason, I am not a person who doesn't know good and evil. Let's forget it this time. I just hope that in the future Uchiha Itachi please don't disturb my life again, I don't want to see him again. After the old woman finished speaking, she left the scene silently. Seeing such a scene, other victims also acquiesced in the old woman's decision and turned around to leave. Seeing these tribesmen leaving, Uchiha Itachi clenched his hands tightly, with tears of blood streaming from his eyes, and had no choice but to kneel on the ground to send farewell to these people who had been hurt by him. There was no time when Uchiha Itachi felt so tormented in his heart. Originally, Uchiha Itachi thought that being able to safely atone for his sins with his own life in this trial and escaping would be a relief. But what he didn't expect was that the tribesmen he had previously thought were unreasonable would stand up to intercede for him one after another at this time. His usually strict father also kowtowed to others and begged for him. In the end, the tribesmen who had been hurt by him were forgiven. Got him. Thinking of the dim and dull eyes of these tribesmen when they left, and the groveling look on his father's face, he was heartbroken. However, a big mistake has been made. There is no regret in the world. Those who survive will be tortured in their hearts all the time, whether it is Itachi Uchiha or the families of the victims. Although the victimized clan members chose to forgive Uchiha Itachi, Uchiha Fugaku, as the clan leader, could not just let the matter pass by and had to give everyone an explanation. As mentioned before, the compensation will be borne by me and my family. In addition, although Uchiha Itachi has been forgiven, his behavior must still be punished. Therefore, I decided to give him a very important long-term mission. The mission this time is to find the masked man who framed us. Now we can confirm that the masked man possesses the Mangekyo Sharingan. He is probably a missing member of our Uchiha clan. He controlled the 9 tails and killed the 4th generation couple 7 years ago. The village suffered huge losses, he was the one who framed us to such an extent, and he played an important role in the genocide of our Uchiha clan by the village's top leaders. So, Uchiha Itachi, I'm going to give you a mission to serve a crime. Capture or kill this masked man. Can you complete it? This is also a helpless move by Uchiha Fugaku. After all, he is his son. The punishment cannot be too severe, and he must give an explanation to his clan members. In addition, he must also take into account the feelings of those clan members in the family who were hurt by him, so he should be more careful. As long as there is not much danger, it can be far away from the family, and the arrest mission can be successful, it becomes the best choice. Uchiha Itachi also wanted to escape from this place very much, and at the same time he also wanted to find something to numb himself. If this task happened to meet these conditions and contribute to the family, he naturally accepted the task resolutely. Yes, Mr. Patriarch, even if I risk my life, I will definitely complete this mission. What happened at the Uchiha Managa Shrine is not yet known to the Konoha executives in the Hokage building. Otherwise, Sarutobi Hiruzen and the other executives would probably laugh out loud happily. 3 pairs of Mangekyo Sharingan gathered together to advance and retreat together. Even after recalling Tsunade and Jiraiya, Sarutobi Hiruzen was not sure of defeating Uchiha. Fortunately, they were separated from each other, and Uchiha Itachi was alone. The opportunity to assassinate one of them was lost in their quarrel. Back in time when the major families left the roots, only Sarutobi Hiruzen and other senior officials were left on the scene. After hastily making arrangements to deal with the roots, the 3 of them returned to the Hokage building under the escort of some Anbu. As soon as they returned to the Hokage building, the 3 of them came to the office. Looking at the empty chair, the 3 of them couldn't help but feel a little sentimental. After all, after so many years of getting along, the relationship between the 4 of them was no longer comparable to that of ordinary people. Soon the 3 of them recovered from this dull atmosphere. After going to bed, Koharu and Mito Kadeni directly asked Sarutobi Hiruzen about Uchiha Minami, but Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't know much. After all, he had awakened. Before his memory, Uchiha Minga could only be regarded as a somewhat talented ninja school student. Compared to Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi, there is really no comparison, and naturally he cannot be on Sarutobi Hiruzen's special attention list. If he hadn't still belonged to Uchiha, Sarutobi Hiruzen might not even be able to remember each other. Grade level. After awakening his memory, Uchiha Nanga was even more low-key. He was focused on opening the Mangekyo Sharingan. He was afraid that something unusual would be discovered and attracted the attention of Konoha's top brass. Therefore, Sarutobi Hiruzen also did not care about his information. Little is known. At the moment, he could only order the urgent retrieval of Uchiha Nanga's information, while telling the two advisors all the information he knew. This is the information I know. Based on his abnormal age, I guessed that the other party was probably the person who attacked the root base in the Hokage building, so I spoke to test him. Through the expressions of other Uchiha clan members and the lack of verbal rebuttal from them, I confirmed the fact that he possesses the Mangekyo Sharingan. Quote, at the beginning, I judged that the other party was an innocent boy like Uchiha Shisui who was afraid of getting into trouble and was afraid of getting into trouble. But after his response to my strategy of arranging the Uchiha clan back to the center of the village, it can be seen that he seems to be young but has a keen mind, and is not a person willing to contribute to the village. Quote, from Sarutobi Hiruzen's words, Mito Kato and Koharu, who had transferred to the dormitory, also heard that he was afraid of this young man, but Mito Kao smelled a different aura from it and successfully led the other two astray. Judging from the other party's performance, the other party really does not want to get involved in the struggle between the village and the family, but judging from the fact that the other party is aware of the village's actions in advance and the strategy to resolve the other party is a very smart person who is good at protecting himself wisely. Maybe we can find a way to deal with Uchiha Fugaku and Uchiha Itachi first. As long as the other party finds that Uchiha has no chance of winning, he will definitely leave on his own. Moreover, given the other party's character, he will not come back for revenge without being sure. Quote, as soon as Mito Kadoyan finished speaking, the Anbu who went to retrieve the information also brought over Uchiha Minga's information at this time. Looking at the mediocre information on Uchiha Minakawa in the intelligence, and thinking of the masked man who could freely enter and exit the root base in the Hokage building, the two advisors Sarutobi Hiruzen and Mito Kadoyan also fell silent at this moment. Such a powerful Uchiha was ignored under heavy surveillance. I really don't know what the Anbu who collected this information did for a living. Could it be that because he was an 11-year-old Uchiha and was still just a ninja student, it should be taken as a matter of course? Do you regard the other party as an ordinary genius? At this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen was very angry, thinking that he was so intensely guarding against the Uchiha clan, but the Anbu below used such a piece of information to fool him, and wanted to immediately find the Anbu who collected this information and check it on the spot. I feel like killing. However, despite their anger, neither Sarutobi Hiruzen nor the two advisors had the mood or time to dwell on this trivial matter in the face of the current situation. From the information, we can at least judge that the other party is indeed the kind of person who is wise and self-protective. Men Yan's plan may really be feasible. Xiaochun was the first to break the awkward atmosphere in the office. Not to mention the high-level officials of Konoha who had been completely led astray by Mito Kaiden's wit. In the Uchiha clan, Uchiha Itachi kowtowed resolutely and then left the Uchiha clan as if he was running away, came to the ninja school. In the last moments of Konoha, Uchiha Itachi was ready to take another look at his brother. After all, the enemy was the man known as Uchiha Madara, and with his weird time and space abilities, although he knew how to deal with it from Uchiha Nanga method, but still not sure, it can be said that life or death is uncertain. As the younger brother, Uchiha Itachi naturally wanted to come and say goodbye silently. But after arriving at the ninja school, I discovered that there was another Uchiha Minami here. Obviously, this was the clone sent by Uchiha Minami to protect Uchiha Sasuke in order to prevent Sarutobi Hiruzen and other high-level officials from jumping over the wall. There was no communication between the two parties. After both parties nodded, Uchiha Itachi handed a scroll to Uchiha Nanhi and looked at it quietly for a while. At this time, Uchiha Sasuke, who was still delayed in the classroom by the school, silently choose to leave. Watching Uchiha Itachi leave, Uchiha Minami's clone also informed Uchiha Minami in the clan area of what happened here through the function of the wood escape clone and the main body to communicate with each other. At this time, there was a huge quarrel in the Nanga shrine. The reason was that Uchiha Fugaku announced the list of clan members who would move to the central clan area, and the rules of conduct of the Uchiha security department after that. The contradiction is that there are many elderly tribesmen who also want to move back to the central tribe. However, Uchiha Fugaku considers that most of these elderly tribesmen have stubborn temperaments, arrogant and rigid behaviors, and are unwilling to let go of the glory of Yuhi Uchiha. With their characters, they not only achieve unless Uchiha wants to deepen communication with other families and ninjas in the village, it is even more likely to aggravate this gap. Only those new and gentle tribesmen, who are not affected by too many stubborn ideas, can live harmoniously and peacefully with other families and ninjas, changing the arrogant image of Uchiha among the villagers. As for Uchiha Fugaku's request for the security department to enforce the law mildly, it made the security tribesmen who considered themselves elites feel insulted. As elites, why should they serve the civilians and weak people in a humble manner? This kind of thinking almost occupies most of the members of the security department. Seeing such a scene, Uchiha Nanga was no longer in the mood to pay attention to Uchiha Itachi's departure. He directly opened the Mangekyo Sharingan, and a huge chakra power burst out from his body. The strong pressure immediately made the clan members who were shouting just now become speechless. Stand up. What, you don't want Uchiha anymore, right? This shout made everyone look at each other in confusion, but they didn't immediately say anything. After all, Uchiha Minami's status in the clan was no longer ordinary, and his power was very strong. Everyone was just confused about his normal statement. Why is this an act to harm Uchiha? Why don't we want Uchiha to be better when we move to the center of the clan? Will we deliberately ruin Uchiha's reputation in the center of the village? No one loves Uchiha more than us old people. Then is it wrong for our security department to enforce the law according to the law? As the defender of public security in the village, shouldn't we be more serious and make others afraid, so as to deter them from making the same mistake again? Isn't this also wrong? Quote. Hearing that these tribesmen had not yet realized the family's crisis and were still plausibly defending themselves, Uchiha Nanga also laughed at the stupidity of these people. But thinking about it, this also revealed that there are too few people in the Uchiha clan who can think calmly and have an overall view. Even these old people who have lived for such a long time and the security department who hold important positions do not have these abilities. The young tribesmen among them may be even worse, which also makes Uchiha Nanhi feel a little worried. I lamented that the road to revitalization of Uchiha was long and arduous, so I had no choice but to be patient and explain everything one by one. You all know what happened yesterday. Haven't you realized the crisis of the Uchiha clan? Do you think that the Mangekyo Sharingan of me and the clan leader can compete with the entire village? I believe everyone has seen the Mangekyo Sharingan. It is a pair of cursed eyes. The more we use it, the darker it will become. From the moment we open our eyes will inevitably go blind, on the way. How many clansmen are left who attacked the root base together last night? How many people were injured? 300 of our most elite tribesmen have been sacrificed to such an extent by just one root. Do you count, are there still 100 pioneer tribesmen who will accompany me on the expedition? Quote. You still don't realize how weak you are. How long can you rely on the Mangekyo Sharingan of me and the clan leader? Anyway, I will definitely not waste my precious energy on such a meaningless dispute. For the sake of the Uchiha pride in your hearts, you want me to pay for you. I can only say that you are overthinking. You should strive for your own pride. Whether it is the glory of Uchiha in the past or our ability to counter-kill Shimura Danzo and his roots, you yourself know how much you have contributed. If it is really impossible, I will not care about the Uchiha clan anymore. I can live a comfortable life in the ninja world by myself. Don't think that I am unkind. I am only an 11-year-old ninja school student. My parents also died fighting for Konoha and Uchiha. You have no right to ask me to fight to the death for Uchiha. Quote. The sharp words instantly made everyone feel ashamed, especially the tribesmen who had participated in the attack on the root base last night and survived. They blushed and lowered their heads one by one. Even those old people who usually rely on their old age were shocked by Uchiha Nanga at this time. Nothing to say. For a moment, the entire Nanga shrine was silent, as quiet as if there was no one there. This situation lasted for a long time. Seeing everyone so embarrassed and realizing their mistakes, Uchiha Fugaku stood up and comforted. Okay, you don't need to blame yourself, you just need to know that the clan's arrangement is to change our Uchiha's current predicament. Everyone must have noticed the relocation list I announced. They are all gentle and sociable tribesmen. They are not moving to the central tribe to enjoy the blessings. They are also responsible for making good friends with other families and ninjas, and changing the Uchiha influence in the village, important task of maintaining a good image. The same is true for the security department. As long as we enforce the law gently, explain the reasons for major crimes to gain public opinion, and finally make them public, let minor crimes go lightly, and focus on criticism and education, then we will naturally win the love of the villagers. This is not only to gain the goodwill of other families, ninjas and villagers, but also to gain their support for the Uchiha clan in the next Hokage election. Quote. So, all tribesmen, please understand the family. Only by your own efforts can you reap the rewards. We can't just talk about the position of Hokage. These arrangements are for the revitalization of the family. Please abide by them. After saying this, Uchiha Fugaku did not forget to bow and pay tribute. All the family members also understood Uchiha Fugaku's painstaking efforts and expressed their assurance. Chapter 51. Since the founding of the village, our Uchiha clan has not produced a Hokage. Perhaps it is not all due to the suppression of the Senju clan. Our own behavior is indeed not liked by the villagers. Now, if our Uchiha clan wants to compete for the position of Hokage, we must make changes. I obey the arrangement of the clan leader. At the same time, I also warn those self-righteous clan members that if anyone ruins the family's plan, I will be the first to spare him. Quote. The first one to echo was still Uchiha Setsuna. This former radical leader, after last night's battle, really recognized himself and realized the current situation of Uchiha. Since returning to the clan, he has made positive changes. This change in attitude is still very obvious. Uchiha Fugaku and Uchiha Nanga are very pleased that finally a sensible Uchiha has emerged, and they secretly decided to reuse him. During this internal reorganization of Uchiha, the most violent resistance was among the surviving radical tribesmen. Now, with the explanations of Uchiha Nanga and Uchiha Fugaku, these tribesmen experienced the battle last night. They all understood what they should do, and their leading brother took the lead in taking a stand. These tribesmen also actively stood up and made guarantees. The arrangement has been completed, and the next step is to rely on the implementation of these tribesmen. Seeing that everyone is gearing up for a big fight, Uchiha Fugaku does not stop him and declares the end of the tribe meeting. After everyone left, Uchiha Nanhi couldn't wait to choose to go home. Back home, there were already two Uchiha Nanga waiting there. After receiving the things handed over by the two clones, they immediately checked it out regardless of anything else. The two clones also knew the reason for the main body's excitement and dismissed themselves with helpless expressions. Come on. Among the things brought by the clone, the most intuitive thing was a nutrition bottle containing a Sharingan. When he saw the Scarlet 3 Magatama Sharingan inside, Uchiha Minami immediately cheered selflessly. Because he knows that the Sharingan here is not a 3 Magatama, but the Mangekyo Sharingan of the 8 Sutras. This is the wooden clone that Uchiha Nanga created before heading to the roots to go to Hatake Kaka. Nishina took another Kamui Sharingan that belonged to Uchiha Obito. The reason why he is so impatient is that he is not afraid of exposing his ambitions to the village's senior officials, but he is afraid that after Uchiha Obito loses one of the Mangekyo Sharingan, he will immediately take back the other divine power Mangekyo stored in Kakashi's eyes. When he captured the Kamui Sharingan from Uchiha Obito, Uchiha Nanga had the idea of the pair of Mangekyo Sharingan. You know, when Uchiha Nanga decided what kind of pupil technique he should awaken, the first thing he thought of was the divine power of Uchiha Obito. This pupil technique not only has a strong life-saving ability, but can also open space remotely. It uses a method to carry out a space-tearing attack. If the speed of this attack were not too slow, even a 6th-level being would not be able to withstand it. What's even more eye-catching is that when two pairs of kaleidoscopes are used at the same time, they can even open up other people's spaces. This ability is very powerful. It can be trapped anywhere. This is how big the world is, and you can go anywhere. It was only later that I thought that Izanagi, the ultimate forbidden technique of the Sharingan, would be more helpful in the early stage and had more potential, so I gave up Kamui, the eye technique that was called a bug. However, Uchiha Minagawa still did not give up on his coveting of the divine eye technique. Thinking that when the Mangekyo Sharingan was promoted to the Eternal Mangekyo, it would need to be fused with the Mangekyo Sharingan of another pair of blood relatives, Uchiha Minami fought against Uchiha Obito. The idea of a kaleidoscope of power. As for the question of whether non-blood relatives can be integrated, it is not a problem at all with the ability to transform reality into reality. However, at that time, I was still a little worried that Uchiha Obito was too stubborn and it would be difficult to get the Mangekyo Sharingan in his eyes. But what he didn't expect was that Uchiha Minagawa just used Hirano Lin's position in the opponent's heart to stir up trouble, and Uchiha Obito rushed over in a mad manner, allowing Uchiha Minami to easily obtain the most difficult divine power, Kaleidoscope. Also after obtaining this Mangekyo Sharingan, Uchiha Minami sent his wooden clone to capture another Mangekyo Sharingan from Hitachi Kakashi. But when he arrived at Hitachi Kakashi's house, he found that the other party was not at home. At this time, Hitachi Kakashi was in the Hokage's office attending a meeting about the attack on the Hokage building. Later, as an Anbu, he participated in the handling of Root's funeral, until just got home this morning. Just when Kakashi returned home, he found the wooden escape clone who had been waiting here for a long time. Seeing the clothes on the other party, he immediately confirmed that the other party was Uchiha Minga, who was praised by the Hokage in front of the Root base. He saw the other party waiting. After a while, I began to feel wary. As a genius of Uchiha, why did you break into my home? Uchiha Nanhi looked at the other person's nervous look, smiled heartily, and spread his hands to show his kindness. Hitachi Kakashi, the so-called genius, is no worse than the seniors back then. Hearing this, Kakashi frowned slightly and did not reply, still watching Uchiha Nanhi warily. Seeing that the other party did not answer, Uchiha Nanhi had no choice but to continue speaking. It's a pity that you, such a genius, have encountered the darkest time in your life. First, your father committed suicide due to the failure of the mission and was criticized by the villagers. Then, you were entrusted by your best friend before his death, but you accidentally killed your companion. In the end, you even the family of the teacher who cared for you the most also passed away one after another. This is why you, who should have a bright future, become decadent and sluggish, wallowing in the sorrow of the past. Shut up, you don't need to comment on these things. What is your purpose? Your Uchiha clan is in a bad situation right now. Are you sure you want to anger me here? Obviously, Uchiha Nanga's words made Hitachi Kakashi fall into memories that he no longer wanted to remember. Of course, this could not make Kakashi lose his temper. He immediately stopped and at the same time counterattacked. Look at each other. Uchiha Nanga didn't care about Kakashi's hostility. This time he came to collect the Kamui Mangidoscope. It was very likely that he would break up with Kakashi, but he felt that the other party was still a very worthy target, so he came forward to try to persuade him. Other side. No, I don't want to anger you or become your enemy. I just want you to know the truth of some things. What truth? Is your so-called truth just to show that I am an evil person? Everyone related to me must die a good death. Seeing Kakashi's emotions that were about to explode completely, Uchiha Nanga also knew that he had no talent in negotiation, so he had to directly raise the subject and stop irritating the other party. What I call the truth is not what you think. I said I came with good intentions. Forget it, I'll tell you directly. Your father, Konoha White Fang, did not commit suicide out of guilt. There is also a hidden reason behind the death of your two companions, as well as the sacrifices of the fourth Hokage and Kyuki Na, which also involved a lot. When Kakashi heard the news, his originally vigilant expression froze for a moment, but in an instant he burst out with strong murderous intent and said word by word. Uchiha Nanga, no matter what your purpose is, you should not question my relatives and friends at will. Even if you have the Mangekyo Sharingan, I can at least die with you now. While speaking, he also pulled down the mask on his face, revealing the hidden Sharingan. He also used the seal on his hand to perform his famous skill Chidori. Seeing such a familiar scene, Uchiha Minagawa felt speechless for a while. Isn't this the reaction of Kakashi when he faced Orochimaru during the Chunin examination in the original book? In the end, Kakashi was so frightened by Orochimaru's murderous intent that he trembled. The Chidori in his hands scattered on their own, and he laughed at himself for being so stupid. Uchiha Nanga thought of this, and his bad taste also came up. He instantly opened the Mangekyo Sharingan and burst out his own momentum, wanting to see if Kakashi would be as afraid to move as he was when facing Orochimaru. However, although Uchiha Nanga's aura was very strong, it was not intimidated by Orochimaru's cold and powerful murderous aura. Therefore, even if Kakashi felt this powerful aura and realized that he was not his opponent, he was not frightened. Thousands of birds have dispersed. When Uchiha Nanhi saw this, a look of disappointment flashed in his eyes, and he stopped continuing this bad taste, and then turned serious. Did you really not notice it? Or are you simply unwilling to think about other aspects? Speaking of your father, who is so famous in the ninja world, is he really so fragile that he commits suicide just because of a few rumors? Or does he really commit suicide out of guilt because he has caused huge losses to the village? Haha, the ANBU's important mission was actually made known to the whole village. This was enough to arouse suspicion. Later, when the rumors spread, the village's senior officials did not make any clarification move, and they just allowed it to get worse. It's even more inseparable. As for the huge losses caused to the village, haha, whether it is historical records or rumors in the village, there is no surface or record that there were any specific incidents of huge losses in Konoha village during the period when White Fang Senpai committed suicide. Or do you think that the loss that caused such a prestigious Konoha White Fang to commit suicide is not worthy of being recorded or known? That was an incident that was known to the whole village. Have you really never suspected the underlying reason? Quote. Okay. I'm not good at preaching either, so I'll just tell you the reasons analyzed by our Uchiha family. Back then, White Fang Senpai's reputation was too high. As a being who wore the Hokage half-sleeve, becoming Hokage was already a certainty. But he is not a member of the Senju clan, and he is not an existence that can be easily controlled. The former can be seen from the current fourth Hokage in the village, and it is impossible for your father to become Hokage. The latter is even more cruel. You once served as a close Anbu for your teacher, the fourth Hokage, so you should know very well what kind of situation he was in when he was Hokage. At that time, the third Hokage held on to power, and the fourth Hokage only had a few of you available. All the government orders issued by the Hokage building had the third Hokage's finger in them. You said that if your father, as the former Anbu captain, became Hokage, would the third Hokage be able to hold on to power as easily as the fourth Hokage did during his time? Quote. Senior White Fang can only commit suicide in exchange for you being able to live peacefully in the village, and also being able to join the Senju clan and become a disciple of Namikaze Minato. Do you still think I'm just questioning this fact? Facing Uchiha Nanga's analysis of what happened to his father, the Chidori in Kakashi's hand unconsciously spread out, showing an expression of disbelief. If the other party said nonsense, he could still insist on it. Make fun of it. But what the other party said was true for many things, and Kakashi couldn't deny the fact that it had happened. Thinking of the ANBU's mission process, the only way to deal with a failed mission is to try to make up for it or block the news. What's more, my father's mission that may cause huge losses to the village will never be made known to the whole village. The higher-ups did nothing, and it was not until his father committed suicide that they came forward to calm public opinion, which is even more suspicious. Kakashi is not stupid either. The reason why he has never thought about this before is because he respects the status represented by the Hokage and subconsciously ignored it. But now, after Uchiha Nanga's prompting, Hitaki Ka, as an elite Junin, Cassie immediately realized the irrationality of this. Thinking back to his teacher's situation after becoming Hokage, the third Hokage's intention to control power was very obvious, which inevitably made Kakashi very panicked. Could it be that my father's suicide really threatened the position of Hokage, and the third Hokage didn't want to delegate power, so he was conspired to kill him? If you don't believe it, you can investigate it yourself. This incident was not long ago, and many people have experienced it. The truth can be easily figured out. However, It is estimated that the source of the rumors that slandered your father back then cannot be traced, and the teammate who was rescued by your father and then bit him back has probably disappeared long ago, but this also shows that there is something wrong with this matter. There must be something else hidden. In addition, I hope you can be more rational during the investigation, otherwise when you get closer to the truth, you will die. Don't let your father sacrifice himself to achieve your current achievements, and it will be in vain. Quote. Seeing Kakashi's helpless appearance, Uchiha Nenga kindly reminded him. After all, his 50-50 ability will definitely become the mainstay of the village under the leadership of Uchiha in the future. I will verify everything you said by myself. The reason why you came here today is not just to tell me this. If you have any other purpose, please tell me. Since you told me this news, under the circumstances, consider the situation whether to agree. As expected of an elite Jonin, I am here to recover the Mangekyo Sharingan in your left eye. Uchiha Minami showed admiration and stated the purpose solemnly. What? Impossible. This is the last wish that my best friend gave me before he died. My teacher also negotiated with you, and you, the Uchiha clan, also agreed. Also, this is just an ordinary 3 Magatama Sharingan, not the Mangekyo Sharingan you call it. Kakashi said with a look of resistance. Oh, an ordinary 3 Magatama Sharingan. Is that really the case? I'm afraid you can't remember what this Sharingan looked like when it was transplanted to you. It was not a 3 Magatama at that time. Then do you think it is possible that it is not a 3 Magatama now? Quote. Uchiha asked with amusement on his face. Uchiha Nenga's rhetorical question made Kakashi feel at a loss. When he thought about what the other party said before, there was another hidden reason behind the deaths of Obito and Lin, he became even more anxious. What do you mean? Didn't I evolve the Sharingan into the 3 Magatama myself? Or has this Sharingan evolved into the Mangekyo? Haha, you are really sharp. However, do you think an outsider without Uchiha blood can really evolve the Sharingan? After all, the Sharingan is still an organ of the Uchiha's body. The special chakra needed for evolution can only be synthesized by the Uchiha's bloodline when there are huge emotional fluctuations. Its evolution is not just a matter of having the Sharingan when the emotions are intense, And I can tell you very clearly that in your eyes this Sharingan, which only belongs to Uchiha Obito, has indeed evolved to the level of the Mangekyo Sharingan. As a foreigner, it is impossible for you to evolve the Sharingan and open it to the point of kaleidoscope, but it has indeed evolved in your eyes. Quote. That makes things really interesting, doesn't it? Uchiha Minagawa believed that he had been reminded to this point. With Kakashi's intelligence, he would definitely react quickly and think of the fact that Uchiha Obito was not dead. As expected, Kakashi immediately asked eagerly. You mean Obito didn't die in the Third Ninja War? The Sharingan evolved because of him. Impossible. I saw with my own eyes that he was submerged by a boulder. In that case, it was impossible for him to survive. Moreover, even if he survived, why didn't he come to me and Lin as soon as possible? Why haven't you returned to Konoha for so many years? Quote. Seeing Kakashi revealing his true feelings, Uchiha Minami couldn't bear to continue talking. However, whether it was because he didn't want Uchiha Obito to recover the Sharingan with time and space capabilities, or he was worried about Kamui's bug, it was impossible for Uchiha Minagawa to give up on his desire for power. He had no choice but to continue to be a villain with a playful face. Perhaps he has come back to find you and Lin. However, what he couldn't accept was that what he found was Lin who you accidentally killed. Quote. When Kakashi heard such shocking news, his whole body began to tremble, and he kept saying, I'm sorry, in his mouth. No, you have not sorry to anyone. Lin died voluntarily in your hands for the sake of the village. This was her will. To say you are sorry is to insult her sacrifice. On the contrary, it was Uchiha Obito. He had sorry for too many people. Quote. Kakashi had already put down his guard at this time, and came to Uchiha Minami without any scruples, grabbed his shoulders, and asked eagerly. Where is he now? Why isn't he back in Konoha? What is he doing? Kakashi Hatake, calm down. Uchiha Nenga slapped away the other person's hands that were grabbing his shoulders and shouted, trying to make the other person wake up. You have to know that the current Uchiha Obito is no longer the Uchiha Obito you know who clamored all day long to become Hokage. Do you know that he was the one who released the Kyuubi in the village, causing the death of your teacher and his wife? The evil deeds he has done over the years are far more than that, and our Uchiha clan has also been deeply framed by him. We, the Uchiha clan, have been suspected and suppressed by the village in these years, all because of him. Last night, he even joined forces with Danzo Shimura to destroy our Uchiha clan. This is why I came to you so eagerly to take back the Mangekyo Sharingan. Quote. Seeing that Kakashi still looked helpless, Uchiha Nenga no longer showed mercy and directly revealed Uchiha Obito's crime. Impossible, how could he do such a thing? Both the teacher and sister Kushina take good care of him. Moreover, the Uchiha clan did not offend him. He was also born in the Uchiha clan. Why did he want to destroy the Uchiha clan? Quote. Then I don't know what this lunatic is thinking. Maybe he is complaining about being late every time is Yellow Flash, or maybe he wants to provoke a conflict between the Uchiha clan and the village. But no matter what, it is certain that he wants to destroy the Uchiha clan. In order to prevent him from continuing to destroy the village and the Uchiha clan, we must take back the Mangekyo Sharingan in your eyes to restrict him. Quote. If you really want to know, just wait until we catch him, or you go find him and ask yourself. Now our entire Uchiha clan is still under threat from the other party, so we can only express this Mangekyo Sharingan sorry. Uchiha Nenga stopped talking nonsense, and while the other party was still panicking, he stepped forward and dug out the Mangekyo Sharingan in his left eye. Recovering from the memory returned by the clone, Uchiha Nenga put away the Mangekyo Sharingan and placed him in the dream space together with the other Mangekyo Sharingan that he had taken from Uchiha Obito, among. Although chakra needs to be consumed to maintain the existence of the dream space, Uchiha Obito thought that Zetsu, who was so familiar with Zetsu in the original work, was unable to guard against it, and the opponent still found the hidden Rinnegan. To this all-pervasive and unpredictable Zetsu, Uchiha Bonan also had to be on guard in this way, and the chakra consumed was completely acceptable to the current Uchiha Minami. After putting away the pair of eyes related to the promotion of the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, Uchiha Nenga took out the scroll that Uchiha Itachi left behind when he left. After unfolding it, it was found that it was a psychic scroll. It must be the Crow psychic scroll of Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi. Uchiha Nenga did not hesitate, signed his name on it, and couldn't wait to cast it directly. The art of channeling. Uchiha Nanhi also had some guesses as to the reason why Uchiha Itachi left this psychic scroll. One of them was to send a message to the clan, and the other reason might be to give Uchiha Shisui's kaleidoscope of other gods to him. As expected, what came out of the channel was the crow inlaid with Uchiha Shisui's Mangekyo Sharingan. Although he had expected it, when he saw that it was really the other god's Mangekyo, Uchiha Minami was also happy. Smile. As expected, it's you, other gods. Maybe it's because I was willing to send a clone to protect his younger brother in that situation, so he was willing to give me this dangerous kaleidoscope. Haha, I really didn't expect that the reward for keeping the other party would come so soon. Don't worry, Sasuke is the future savior. I will definitely protect such a potential tool man. Quote. Faced with these two pairs of Mangekyo Sharingan, both of which can be called bugs, Uchiha Nenga wants both of them. However, according to the information in the original work, fusing a pair of Mangekyo Sharingan can make his own Mangekyo Sharingan after being promoted to the level of perfection of the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. It becomes very uncertain whether it can be integrated into other Mangekyo. This kind of fusion is more like a compensation for defects. Fusion of a pair of Mangekyo Sharingan can be seen as just making up for this defect to achieve a perfect state. Fusion of a second pair at this time is equivalent to hanging another one on top of a perfect thing. Flaws, this may not succeed or something unexpected may happen. Therefore, to be on the safe side, Uchiha Nenga will only choose one of the two. Compared to other gods, Kamui is obviously more suitable for him, both in terms of ability and function. Without him, Uchiha Obito's eyes are a pair of complementary eyes, and not only can release the time and space pupil technique, but also possess a divine power space. Uchiha Minami guessed that after fusing these eyes, Uchiha Minami's divine power space can also integrating into your own dream space, you may be able to have your own eternal space in the illusory dream world. This fused space is likely to have inherited Uchiha Nenga's ability to absolutely control things in the dream space. At the same time, it also has Kamui's ability to open and close this space anytime and anywhere without much expense. It can also absorb other things. When using foreign objects, there is no longer the need to consume a large amount of chakra to turn them into reality as before. Any blood stains that you want to fuse with can be completed directly in this fused space. Perhaps this space that combines the characteristics of reality and illusion is no longer a space in the ordinary sense. It is more like a small world with Uchiha Minagawa as the master of the space. As for Uchiha Shisui's Mangekyo Sharingan, Uchiha Nenga is more interested in studying it. As long as the release mechanism of other gods is understood, it can be more intuitively analyzed. The Sharingan's effect on spiritual consciousness illusion attack method. As long as he understands how other gods affect the opponent's mental consciousness, Uchiha Minagawa can take it to the next level in illusions. He will no longer be limited to 5 sense illusions that only control the body, and can directly exert influence on the enemy's consciousness. The ultimate illusion that affects and completely changes a person. Although this kind of illusion is not as intuitive as the Kurama family's illusion that can affect reality, it is more creepy. The limit of the Kurama family's blood succession is breadth, but the kaleidoscope is depth. It can't be said who is stronger and who is weaker. Compared with the degree of difficulty, kaleidoscope, an illusion that can touch the spiritual consciousness, is even more difficult to guard against. Therefore, Uchiha Nenga no longer hesitated, walked around the clan area, and caught a white Zetsu. Now that he had a showdown with Uchiha Obito, he no longer worried about the other party finding out that he was the one who acted against the white Zetsu hand. And Uchiha Obito has suffered such a big loss from Uchiha Minami, so he will naturally not give up monitoring Uchiha Minami. Now the number of white Zetsu in Konoha village has reached the highest level in history. Therefore, Uchiha Minami only then can he go out for a while and catch a white Zetsu. White Zetsu is really a good tool. Using him for reincarnation in the dirt can strengthen the strength of the reincarnated person. Transplanting him with the kaleidoscope can lighten the burden. Even the scientist Orochimaru said that this is an excellent material for the reincarnation of the dead. I don't know how Uchiha Obito is doing now. After all, he is the spokesperson chosen by Uchiha Madara. In this case, Black Zetsu will definitely not let the plan go wrong. Presumably even if there is no Uchiha Madara in his collection, Black Zetsu must have collected a lot of the new Mangekyo Sharingan over the years, and he will definitely take out the new Mangekyo Sharingan to protect Uchiha Madara and install it for Uchiha Obito. After all, Uchiha Obito puts aside his Kamui Eye technique. In other aspects, it can only be said that he is quite average and not necessarily very strong. No longer thinking about Obito, Uchiha Minami didn't make any preparations. He directly replaced one of his eyes and installed it with Uchiha Shisui's Mangekyo Sharingan. After activating his perfect immortal body enhancement, Naroshita immediately adapted to this Mangekyo Sharingan. Uchiha Nenga didn't care about Baizetsu's clamor. In order to better understand the mechanism of action of the other gods, he directly pulled Baizetsu into the dream space and immediately used the other gods on Baizetsu. The miraculous thing about other gods is that they can plant their own orders deep in the consciousness of the person being casted, and even tamper with the memory. Even those who have been reincarnated from the dirty land are equally effective. This shows that even if the memory is tampered with, it is directly in the spiritual soul, carried out on. Judging from the situation in the original book where Uchiha Itachi was freed from the control of other gods, this process was very fast. But in this dream space that is absolutely controlled by the master of the space, Uchiha Minami, no matter how fast the changes are, they cannot escape his eyes. So that's it. The unique pupil power produced by the Sharingan itself has the effect of affecting the soul consciousness. It's just that the Uchiha clan didn't care about this at all when using it. As long as the illusion was successful, no one investigated why the Sharingan was used. The genjutsu will be stronger than ordinary genjutsu, and it will only be superficially thought that it is because the Sharingan is the blood successor's boundary. After all, it is a recognized fact that the blood successor's boundary is stronger than ordinary ninjutsu. Only when you awaken the Mangekyo Sharingan Eye technique related to genjutsu, you will actively touch this field. However, when ordinary Sharingan is performing genjutsu, it only slightly affects your mental consciousness. No wonder the genjutsu in the ninja world it was never developed in this direction. Uchiha Nanhi quickly understood the principle of other gods entering the spiritual consciousness level. It is basically that the special chakra of pupil power can directly touch the soul consciousness. Thinking about it, the reincarnation of the dirty earth can channel the souls of the dead, and the soul's secret techniques such as the spiritual transformation technique can touch the soul level. These can only be achieved by using ordinary chakra, not to mention the eye energy chakra that is integrated into the spirit. Here, Uchiha Nanga also had to lament once again the omnipotence of chakra. Although it does not have a higher bonus to the level of life like aura, it is far superior in terms of functions. The step back to the consciousness of other gods seems very crude to Uchiha Minagawa. It relies purely on the huge pupil power output instantly to directly enter the depths of the opponent's consciousness and leave his own will, or to tamper with other people's memories. The Baidanjin Mangekyo Sharingan is like a power amplifier. It can instantly clear out the pupil power that takes 10 years to recover, so as to reach the depths of the opponent's consciousness. On the contrary, tampering with memories can be accomplished relatively easily. In Uchiha Nanhei's view, this tampered memory and cognition are also very prone to problems. Originally, people's thoughts are constantly changing according to the environment and different situations they are in. The same person's thoughts at the last moment may be different from the thoughts at the next moment. This kind of forced cognition is innocuous if it conforms to reality. If there is a major conflict with reality, as long as the other party's understanding of things is normal, it is likely to find the problem and correct itself. In this way, the memories or cognitions that have been forcibly modified by other gods are likely to be broken or overridden by new cognitions. Although Uchiha Nanga looked down on other gods' crude modification of cognition, he did not mind recording this special method of entering the depths of the opponent's subconscious mind. Even if Uchiha Nanga cannot instantly output a large amount of pupil power and enter the depths of other people's consciousness, as long as he has a method, he can still achieve the same effect by spending a little more time. Besides, the ordinary Mangekyo Sharingan is not powerful enough to reach this level, so what about the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan? There is no doubt that it can be done. Just like Susanoo, the ordinary Mangekyo Sharingan cannot open to its full form, but the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan can easily do it. Now that I think about it, even Obito Uchiha, who had half of White Zetsu's body transplanted, has never been able to achieve the feat of opening Susanoo with one eye. This is probably not because he doesn't want to open it, but because the power output of his single Kamui Mangekyo Sharingan simply cannot meet the conditions for opening Susanoo. Quote, but Uchiha Shisui did it. Perhaps it was because the Mangekyo Sharingan of the other gods has the ability to enlarge the output of pupil power. This allowed Uchiha Shisui to complete the one-eyed Susanoo attack when Danzo attacked and ambushed him. Feat. This also reflects that the difference between the ordinary Mangekyo Sharingan and the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan is not only different in the recovery of pupil power and the total amount of pupil power, but also in the power output of pupil power. After understanding the principles of other gods and the difference between the Mangekyo Sharingan, Uchiha Nanga replaced his own eyes and stopped exploring Uchiha Shisui's Mangekyo Sharingan. Other gods don't mean much to me anymore. To be on the safe side, it's best to follow Madara Uchiha's path and follow his successful path. After that, I'd better give Shisui's pair of Mangekyo Sharingan to Uchiha Fugaku. If he can advance to the eternal Mangekyo with this, it will be a great help. As long as I fuse the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, I won't be afraid. He couldn't fuse. Quote. In addition, after Uchiha Sasuke opened the Mangekyo Sharingan and integrated it with Uchiha Itachi's Mangekyo Sharingan, even if Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama are resurrected and have not become the Ten Tails Jinchuriki, we will still be able to suppress them. Their strength. Thinking of this, Uchiha Nanhei's lips also evoked a confident smile. After sealing Uchiha Shisui's Mangekyo Sharingan again, Uchiha Nanga also refocused his attention on Uchiha Obito's Kamui Mangekyo. Taking a deep breath, thinking that after the fusion was successfully promoted to the Eternal Kaleidoscope, Uchiha Madara would soon reach the height of Uchiha Madara or even surpass him, Uchiha Minagawa was also trembling with excitement. Time goes back to when Black Zetsu used the moment when Uchiha Itachi Susanoo was defeated to rescue Uchiha Obito. Deep underground near the Kanabi Bridge where Iwagakure and Konoha fought in the Third Ninja World War, Obito Uchiha, who had taken off his mask, was like a dead dog, paralyzed in the underground created by Uchiha Madara, in space. The combined black and white Zetsu is guarding Uchiha Obito, and a white Zetsu is treating Uchiha Obito. White Zetsu's treatment was very rough. He just replaced the damaged parts of Uchiha Obito with the new white Zetsu body. So after a while, the treatment was completed, but Uchiha Obito was still lifeless. On the spot, his whole body was filled with an aura of decadence, with no intention of paying attention to Black Zetsu. Seeing this situation, the filial son Heizetsu, who still wanted to continue the plan to rescue his mother, could only speak first to stimulate the opponent's fighting spirit. Obito, don't forget your mission. Don't you still want to create a world with Lin? If you are like this now, what can you do to see Lin in your heart again? Hearing Black Zetsu mention the name that he had been dreaming about, Uchiha Obito was instantly furious, glaring at Black Zetsu with despair, and said helplessly, "What's the use of talking about this now? I have lost the Mangekyo Sharingan. Let alone control Nagato, who has the Rinnegan. Even if I appear next to him, I will probably be killed by him on the spot. Now I can't do anything, I failed, I am a waste, I was before and I am now." Quote. After saying that, he buried his head lifelessly in the darkness. Hearing how Uchiha Obito was giving up on himself, Black Zetsu wanted to kill him. Then he thought about the 1,000 years of planning and having survived so many hardships. Now the plan is imminent. If he wants to find this kind of good thing again, it was too late for people to use the tools, so they had to be more patient. After all, it was because Uchiha Obito's will was so fragile and easy to manipulate that he was chosen to be Uchiha Madara's spokesperson. Thinking of this, Black Zetsu felt relieved. No matter what, the plan would still go ahead. Black Zetsu no longer hid, and directly took out a new pair of Mangekyo Sharingan and handed it to Uchiha Obito. This is the Mangekyo Sharingan that Uchiha Madara collected back then. Although it is not as useful as your space and time eye technique, it is a complete pair of Mangekyo Sharingan. After getting used to it, it can still be restored to considerable strength. Seeing the Mangekyo Sharingan handed over by Black and White Zetsu, Uchiha Obito's eyes burst with hope, and strength surged out of his body when he was neutral. He stretched out his hand and eagerly grabbed the nutrient bottle, looked at the scarlet pair of Mangekyo Sharingan inside, and frantically laughed loudly. Ha ha ha, okay, great. Only one pair of Mangekyo Sharingan can exert its power. I didn't expect there is a spare. Lin, just wait, I will definitely create a world with you. It won't be long. There is no need to prepare for any surgery. One kaleidoscope is directly taken out and pressed into the empty right eye socket. The other kaleidoscope is processed according to the law, taking out the 3 Magatama Sharingan used to cast Izanagi and replacing it with the remaining one. That Mangekyo Sharingan. The patterns in his eyes rotated rapidly. With the help of white Zetsu cells, he instantly adapted to the new Mangekyo Sharingan, and a confident look spread across his face again. After obtaining the new Mangekyo Sharingan, Uchiha Obito swept away his previous decadence, and his IQ regained the high ground. Thinking of Black Zetsu, the embodiment of Uchiha Madara's will, he only took out this pair of Mangekyo Sharingan now. Unavoidably, the vigilance towards the other party in my heart has risen to a higher level. He didn't want to let Uchiha Madara complete the final plan. That was Yulin's world, and he naturally needed to create it himself in order to perfectly suit his own wishes. Let's put the Uchiha things aside for now. That Uchiha brat is not a simple thing. The top priority is still the plan. However, we still need to send some white Zetsu to track his whereabouts. If he hinders us, then let Nagato also be dispatched. I believe that with the power of the Rinnegan, he will have no room to jump. Quote. Black Zetsu nodded with relief when he saw that Uchiha Obito was able to wake up so quickly and that he had not dwelled too much on the previous failures and still focused on the ultimate goal. It's good if you can come out. I'll go to Nagato first to ensure the smooth progress of the plan. You can get used to this pair of Mangekyo Sharingan here and train a fighting method suitable for the current situation. In Konoha's Uchiha Minami, experiments have begun to fuse the Kamui Kaleidoscope to advance to the Eternal Kaleidoscope. Similarly, in order to ensure that he would not lose his Mangekyo Sharingan in this fusion experiment, Uchiha Nenga still cast the delayed Izanagi in advance and recorded the current status. For Uchiha Nenga, Uchiha Obito and himself are not blood relatives after all. Even if they rely on the absolute mastery of the dream space, there is still a possibility of fusion failure. At that time, the only way to force the fusion is to use the authority of the dream space, but in this way, it shows that this fusion lacks certain conditions in reality or is simply impossible to complete. In that case, there is a risk of failing to transform reality into reality. The former is not bad. With the amount of chakra Uchiha Minami currently possesses, it is possible to use his own chakra to supplement the missing conditions, thus successfully transforming reality into reality. However, if it is the latter, it is very likely that it will not be able to pay for the energy needed to change reality to turn the imaginary into reality. In this way, it is necessary to set up a Zanagi in advance. To such an inevitable extent, even if Uchiha Obito's Kamui Mangekyo is lost, Uchiha Minami can still get his own Mangekyo Sharingan back. This is also a necessary measure to protect his own Mangekyo Sharingan. Compared with Kamui, Uchiha Minami is more unwilling to lose his ability to transform virtual and real objects. It is really going to be irreversible and lose the Kamui Mangekyo Sharingan. Uchiha Nanhi will not hesitate at all. The eternal Mangekyo Sharingan is far stronger than the ordinary Mangekyo Sharingan in terms of pupil power intensity, and pupil power output. It can also restore its pupil power on its own, and it does not have such a strong physical burden. It is even more evolved. The necessary process to reach the samsara eye. Therefore, even if it fails and loses these precious pairs of Kamui Mangekyo Sharingan, Uchiha Nenga must continue this experiment. However, in Uchiha Nanhei's speculation, the success rate of this fusion experiment is still quite high. In the final analysis, the gap between blood brothers and people of the same generation is not very big. At most, it will only go as far as using Shikara. The extent to which missing conditions are filled. Therefore, Uchiha Nenga did not try Uchiha Shisui's Kamui kaleidoscope first. First, he was afraid that after the fusion was successful, it would not be able to be integrated into the Kamui kaleidoscope, or that there would be defects after the fusion of the Kamui kaleidoscope. Even if the fusion of the two failed, there is also a spare Baidanjin Mangekyo Sharingan that can be used. Having made all preparations, Uchiha Nenga no longer hesitated. With the experience of the previous two fusions, the fusion process this time was also very familiar. After the fusion began, just as Uchiha Nanhi was worried, the fusion experiment still had some twists and turns under the catalysis of the dream space. The fusion was very smooth at first, but halfway through the fusion speed became slower and finally stopped at the last step of success. Uchiha Nanhi checked carefully and found that strictly speaking, the fusion had been successful, but there were still some instability in the fused eyes. However, Uchiha Nanhi has already considered the occurrence of this situation. After all, it is not the eyes of a biological brother, and a little instability is acceptable. Fortunately, it is not the worst case where only a small part can be fused. After thinking for a while, Uchiha Nanhi came up with the reason and solution. Now there is only this last trace of disharmony left. We can completely maintain the fused Mangekyo Sharingan through the dream space to prevent it from collapsing, and then give it strong self-adaptability. In this way, we only need to speed up the process. It can be completely stabilized. After all, living organisms have the ability to proactively adapt to repair. Uchiha Nenga no longer hesitated and directly used his absolute control over the dream space to maintain the pair of Mangekyo Sharingan while speeding up the other party's adaptation process. This fusion is different from previous cell fusions. After all, cells can complement each other where they are deficient, and can actively devour each other where they cannot complement each other. The strong ones stay, and the weak ones become nutrients. There will always be success among the many cells, and the other cells can also successfully complete fusion evolution based on this model. But what is being fused now is the Mangekyo Sharingan, and the most important thing is the pupil technique, so we cannot use this crude method, otherwise the pupil technique may be incomplete or directly lost. Even if the fusion is successful using the absolute mastery of the dream space, even if it succeeds, it will still be stuck in the step of turning virtual reality into reality, and it will not be able to be realized in reality at all. Fortunately, the fusion was successful without forced interference. Sure enough, after all, Uchiha are all members of the same clan, and they are more or less related by blood. Brothers can succeed, and the same is true between clan members. there is a chance of success. However, from the current point of view, this fusion has an adaptation period like Sasuke's. Perhaps this is the newly fused Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan adjusting itself. It's just that the fusion of biological brothers will be relatively stable, and self-adaptation and adjustment can be completed smoothly. However, if it were not for the fusion between biological brothers, this adaptation would likely collapse and fail due to instability. Quote, "Fortunately, I can eliminate this unstable factor in my dream space. Now I just need to wait for this adaptation period to stabilize and then turn it into reality. Then I will really have the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan." Quote, "With the blessing of the dream space, the adaptation period after the fusion was quickly passed, and the fused Mangekyo Sharingan was completely stabilized. Uchiha Minami no longer delayed, and immediately used the ability to turn reality into reality without spending much chakra, indicating that the process was very smooth. Uchiha Minami also successfully promoted his Mangekyo Sharingan to the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. As soon as he came out of the dream space, Uchiha Minami couldn't wait to sense the newly promoted Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. The moment he opened the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, Uchiha Minami felt the power of these eyes. After a little adaptation, you can intuitively feel that basic abilities such as pupil power intensity, pupil power reserve, and pupil power output power have been significantly enhanced compared to the ordinary Mangekyo Sharingan. What's even more surprising is that after being promoted to the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, I originally had the ability to restore my pupil power due to the awakening of the immortal body. Now after being promoted, the recovery speed has been accelerated a lot, and even the total pupil power has been reduced. The volume is growing. Uchiha Nanga is not sure whether it can continue to grow like this, and quantitative changes will lead to qualitative changes, and it will eventually transform into the Samsara Eye. The original work is also ambiguous about this. I don't know if the Samsara Eye is born only when the Yang power represented by Asura Chakra and the Yin power represented by Indra Chakra merge with each other, or whether it is only the eternal kaleidoscope that represents the ultimate Yin escape, and then continue to nourish it with the ultimate Yang escape power. You can finally achieve a qualitative transformation and advance to the Samsara Eye. But no matter what, Uchiha Nanga's eternal kaleidoscope will have eye power that is not weaker than the Rinnegan in the near future. Next, he sensed the legendary power of God, Susanoo. Due to geographical constraints, Uchiha Minami just thought of condensing a skeleton arm, and that's when this idea was put into action. It condensed in an instant, without feeling any pressure at all. After a little calculation, it must be no longer a problem to condense the complete Susanoo. Uchiha Nanhi showed a satisfied smile, stopped experimenting with these basic abilities, and focused his attention on the pupil technique bred by the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. In an instant, Uchiha Minami received the new ability, Divine Power, transmitted from the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Haha, it really worked. The next step is to verify whether the pupil technique is what I thought. Uchiha Nanhi no longer hesitated too much and focused his sight directly on the cup not far away. The space around the cup immediately began to ripple like water waves. Then a vortex appeared in that space and the cup disappeared in the whirlpool. At the same time, Uchiha Nanga also sensed that his Mangekyo Sharingan was connected to a space. When he focused his attention on the sensed space, he found that the cup that had just disappeared stood quietly on the ground of the space. It is indeed the power of Kamui. Uchiha Nanhi was overjoyed, and with a thought, the cup shattered into countless pieces, and some of his own chakra was immediately consumed. Haha, not only can I use Kamui's time and space abilities, but I can also instinctively know everything about this space as if I were in a dream space, and completely control this space. Moreover, this space now really exists. There is no need to consume chakra to maintain the existence of the space, nor does it need to be virtualized before being able to collect foreign objects into the space. Quote, "In order to understand the special features of this space more intuitively, Uchiha Nanga manifested an iron sword and a table in the space. Then with a thought, the iron sword cut the table in half, and felt it carefully. Chakra is not consumed in this process. So, Uchiha Nanga let the iron sword cut through the cup fragments again, but this time the chakra consumed was less than when he exerted direct influence before. Finally, Uchiha Nanga selected two fragments to collide with each other. The two fragments immediately fell apart, and the consumption was even smaller this time. From this, Uchiha Nanhi initially determined the characteristics of the fused space. Well, as expected, it's because the divine power space and my dream space merged with each other, so the new space that was merged has the characteristics of both. But it is not like a dream space that is completely illusory, nor is it like the divine power space that is a real existence. It is more like it is both an illusion and reality. The real existence does not require Shikara to maintain, and it can also accommodate external objects into space, but it can also create things out of thin air and completely control everything in space. Moreover, two beings with different essences can also interfere with each other, but whether they are directly affecting external objects or exerting influence through created objects, they all need to consume a part of chakra. Quote, "The amount of chakra consumed depends on the degree of influence. If it is just manipulation and movement that does not require changing the status of foreign objects, the consumption will be very small. If the influence is exerted indirectly through creation, it will be more. However, if it directly affects foreign objects through the authority of space, it will consume more chakra." Quote, "After understanding the various abilities of the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, and then feeling the increase in mental power brought about by promotion, thereby gaining a larger amount of chakra, Uchiha Minagawa could no longer suppress his joy, and happily laughed loudly. After a hearty laugh, Uchiha Nanhi quickly calmed down and returned to sorting out his own strength. Now that I have the Mangekyo Sharingan, the would release a mortal human body, coupled with divine power and the transformation of reality in reality, I have reached a bottleneck in terms of high-end power. All that is left is to gain the power of celestial beings and find a way to awaken the samsara eye, but this it's not something that can be figured out in a short time. The top priority is to adapt and develop the power you have acquired and form your own fighting style. After all, the Sage of Six Paths was not that powerful from the beginning. Uchiha Minami was still very self-aware. In previous battles, he almost always relied on the magic of his kaleidoscope eye technique and used tricks to kill everyone. Possessing the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan and the Senshi body only shows that Uchiha Minami has the qualifications to stand at the pinnacle of the ninja world, but he still needs to be down to earth to integrate and develop this power in order to be able to stand firm under any conditions. The place of defeat. In addition, there are also various ninjutsu that have been obtained, which also require a lot of time to practice. Now that the family has passed the most critical moment, a temporary balance has been reached between the village and the family. The family still needs to strengthen and change itself during this period, and there will be no other actions that require it. The village will continue to nothing major happened in the past few years. In the ninja world, except for the fact that the fourth Mizukage was exposed to be controlled by genjutsu, there were no major events. Such a long time is enough for me to digest these abilities. Quote, "Speaking of the fourth Mizukage, I thought of Uchiha Itachi who left the village to find Uchiha Obito. I don't know how Uchiha Itachi will catch Uchiha Obito. Maybe he will join the Akatsuki organization like in the original work. After all, this is the most effective method." After leaving Konoha village, Uchiha Itachi, who was talked about by Uchiha Nanga, faced the masked man who knew nothing about him. He was a little confused at first and felt that he had no idea what to do. But he soon remembered that when the masked man was planning the genocide plan with him, he had sent an invitation to himself who had nowhere to go after the genocide plan was successful, and invited himself to join an organization he created called Akatsuki. This also provided clues for Uchiha Itachi to find the other party. After a period of time, Uchiha Itachi often visited places such as underground exchanges to search for information about the Akatsuki organization and the masked man. It was also during this period that news spread in Konoha village that Uchiha Itachi had betrayed Konoha because of the massacre of his clan members, and a reward list for him was placed in the underground black market. Uchiha Itachi also knew that this was the cover and warning given to him by his father Uchiha Fugaku. It was also an explanation to his clan members. It also reminded him that he would probably be hunted down by Anbu sent by the third Hokage. However, with the identity of a rebel ninja, you don't need to have so many scruples when doing things, and you can enter and exit various places more conveniently. It was also this news that gave Uchiha Itachi the idea of joining the Akatsuki organization. After all, The whereabouts of the masked man are elusive, and the information collected about the Akatsuki organization these days all shows that this is a powerful organization composed of many S-class rebellious ninjas. If he breaks in alone, he will only die, born. But this organization is now looking for powerful rebel ninjas in the black market. From this news, Uchiha Itachi analyzed the fact that the other party is recruiting new members and has great ambitions. As long as he joins this organization as an undercover agent, he can collect intelligence to prepare the village for defense, and at the same time, he can also take the opportunity to find the masked man, which can be said to kill two birds with one stone. When Uchiha Itachi thought of this, he stopped looking around like a headless fly for information about the Akatsuki organization and the masked man, and directly took on many difficult tasks in the black market, in order to attract people from this organization to come to him. When Uchiha Itachi perfectly solved all the difficult tasks in the 3 underground black markets, someone came to him as expected. The person who came was a woman wearing a black and red cloud robe with a white paper flower in her blue hair. Uchiha Itachi, who was walking on the way to complete his mission, saw this woman with a pair of paper wings on her back fall from the sky and come to him. She looked at him with an indifferent expression and did not speak. Itachi Uchiha had already known this outfit from the black market, and immediately realized that this woman was a member of the Akatsuki organization. Now that the other party has come to your door, it also means that through your efforts these days, you have successfully entered the other party's candidate list. As long as you show enough strength, you should be able to join the other party's organization. Uchiha Itachi no longer hesitated, opened the Mangekyo Sharingan directly, and then asked with a cold face. "What's your business?" As soon as Uchiha Itachi finished speaking, the woman opposite seemed to confirm something. The papers floating around him instantly turned into shurikens and shot directly at him. Uchiha Itachi stood there without any expression or any evasive movement, and the paper shuriken completely hit him without any miss. But the next moment, what surprised the visitor was that he had clearly confirmed that the person hit was indeed the opponent's body, and the opponent did not make any move to cast a spell, but the person in front of him was riddled with paper shurikens. Without any warning, Kong's figure transformed into crows flying all over the sky, scattering large black feathers. Just when the visitor was looking at the sky filled with feathers in surprise, looking for Uchiha Itachi's figure, Uchiha Itachi suddenly appeared behind him, and the cold kunai was pressed against the visitor's neck. Still those concise and cold words. "Tell me the purpose of attacking me." Suddenly, the visitor realized that he was still flying in midair. Not many people in the ninja world could fly, and he immediately realized that he was under a genjutsu. When was it? You were obviously on guard and didn't look into the other person's eyes. While he was shocked, the visitor immediately formed seals to disrupt his own chakra. When the scene stabilized again, both he and the other party were at the same position where they first met, with no trace of movement. Not even the fact that he had shot a paper shuriken to attack the other party had not happened. Under this cruel reality, the visitor really looked at this boy who was only in his teens. A very good illusionist. Let me introduce myself. My name is Xiaonan. I belong to the Akatsuki organization and my code name is White Tiger. Uchiha Itachi, we have learned about you and admire your abilities very much. Now, on behalf of the organization, I solemnly invite you to join. The organization is full of outstanding and powerful members. The goal of the organization is true peace in the ninja world. One day, the organization will represent the 5 major countries and dominate the ninja world with absolute strength. After Konan said the organization's declaration with a pious look, she stretched out a hand as an invitation, expecting Uchiha Itachi's approval. Is the ninja world peaceful? It's such a big wish, but what can I get? Uchiha Itachi had an expression on his face that showed no interest in anything. He clearly meant it as a question, but his tone was straightforward. However, before Konan could convince the other party that the Akatsuki organization would not interfere in anything involving members, Uchiha Itachi spoke again. Forget it, I don't have anywhere to go now anyway, so I will join your organization temporarily. Xiaonan, who was choked by words, didn't show any emotion. He landed directly on the ground and turned around and walked away, leaving only the word, "follow," in the air. In my heart, I am quite satisfied with the new member Uchiha Itachi. As a member of the Akatsuki organization, I don't care about others. After all, the word, qualification, must be grasped very carefully. It's still the dark cave in the original work, but this time it's not the funny Ah-Fei who brought Uchiha Itachi in. Now Ah-Fei is still doing push-ups in the illegal inheritance left by the old-timer. Conan took Uchiha Itachi to meet the leader of this organization, a being with special eyes. Although Uchiha Itachi was surprised that the other party had the eyes of the legendary sage of six paths, he was still a little disappointed. Reincarnation Eye. It doesn't look like a character who depends on others. It seems that the masked man is not the real leader of the Akatsuki organization, but more like a behind-the-scenes collaborator. Quote, while feeling disappointed, he still followed the membership procedures and drew a symbol of rebellion on his forehead protector. However, when he received the complete set of equipment from the Akatsuki organization and looked at the purple nail polish, even Uchiha Itachi, who had always been paralyzed, couldn't help but twitch the corners of his eyes. Zetsu was still a little shocked that Uchiha Itachi actually joined the Akatsuki organization. Even if Uchiha Obito's plan failed, White Zetsu, who was under surveillance in Konoha, did not evacuate and naturally received what happened next. Black Zetsu actually disagreed very much with Uchiha Obito's plan. It would be great to capture the tailed beasts in secret, but he had to provoke those great ninja villages to cause trouble for himself, but you can forget it if you make trouble, and you can play again and again. Take off. Now in the Kurigakure village of the water country, signs of illusions in the fourth Mizukage have been discovered, and there are more and more secret actions. They have not dealt with them well, and now they are provoking the Konoha Uchiha clan. Black Zetsu also understood that Obito Uchiha wanted to destroy the Uchiha clan, partly to weaken Konoha, and partly because he was afraid of Uchiha's unstable Mangekyo Sharingan ability that could appear at any time. After all, the other party is also the owner of the Mangekyo Sharingan. He is well aware of the horror of some eye skills, and coupled with the stimulation of Uchiha Shisui, he arrogantly wants to kill Uchiha's unstable factors directly, and at the same time return can harvest some Sharingan to cast Izanagi. From the perspective of Heiju thousand years, this is simply a scabies disease. There have been so many beings who have awakened the no-eye clearing technique in history. In the end, they will just be like that. They will eventually disappear under the power of time. How many of them can achieve this? Uchiha Madara's level. The truth is there is none. To provoke a great ninja village over such an uncertain matter is a completely stupid move. Not only does it put the other party on guard, but it will also inevitably affect their future actions. As long as enough tailed beasts are collected and Uchiha Madara is resurrected, it will be useless for Uchiha to produce a few more kaleidoscopes. Humph, Uchiha Obito has been taught a lesson by falling to this point. From now on, he should be able to focus on the Eye of the Moon project wholeheartedly. Black is quite satisfied with the fact that Uchiha Obito's operation failed and suffered a big loss, and he is even more happy with Uchiha Itachi who joined the Akatsuki organization. There are actually people who come to work as tools. As for what happened in Konoha later, because he was afraid that Uchiha Nanga had captured White Zetsu, the exact reason why Uchiha Itachi came to the Akatsuki organization could not be discovered. However, it is still known that Uchiha Itachi, under the persuasion of Uchiha Minagawa, finally betrayed the top management of Konoha, stood with the Uchiha clan, and also led the clan to destroy Shimura Danzo and the Roots. Logically speaking, even if he killed several clan members, considering that he was powerful and accomplished great achievements, and he was the young clan leader, it was impossible for the Uchiha clan to let such a genius go. However, the reward order stated it also clearly shows the fact that the other party has rebelled against the village. I really don't know what Uchiha is thinking. The conflict between the top management of Konoha and Uchiha has not been completely resolved yet. Isn't it safer to have 3 pairs of kaleidoscopes? Black Zetsu couldn't understand Uchiha's brain circuit, and could only guess that the other party was expelled because he massacred his tribe, although he saved his life. Or the other party is an undercover agent sent by Uchiha, with the purpose of catching Uchiha Obito, the culprit who led the Uchiha clan to where they are today. It seems that we need to inform Obito of the news as soon as possible so that he can be prepared. Soon Uchiha Obito received the news that Uchiha Itachi had joined the Akatsuki organization, which was also mixed with the analysis of Kuro Absolute's unreasonable actions. However, Uchiha Obito did not panic at all and showed an indifferent look. In Uchiha Obito's view, it is very likely that Uchiha Itachi joined the Akatsuki organization just for himself, but there is nothing to worry about. On the contrary, as long as he is still working as an undercover agent in the Akatsuki organization, he needs to do it for himself. Organizations work hard to gain trust. In the next operation to capture the tailed beast, the opponent's Mangekyo Sharingan will also play a huge role. In the end, he will still benefit. As long as he does not give the opponent a chance, facing so many S-class monsters in the organization, if you rebel, the other party will have no way to deal with you. But he can use the opponent's force for his own use, so why not? As long as he waits for the tailed beasts to be collected, the opponent will have no effect at all. If he gets rid of them, then there will be no more scruples. Therefore, Uchiha Obito had no objection to this. He just asked Z to remind Nagato, then stopped interfering and continued with his training plan. Similarly, Sarutobi Hiruzen and other senior officials had already known about the news of Uchiha Itachi leaving Konoha. After some discussions, they felt that this was an excellent opportunity to weaken the Uchiha clan. Therefore, many Anbu were dispatched and issued orders to trace the opponent's whereabouts and wait for opportunities to kill them. But in the next few days, no news came, and several Anbu teams disappeared inexplicably. Konoha's top brass could only ignore it. After that, Uchiha Fugaku came to the Hokage's office and asked Uchiha to be transferred to the Hokage's office. Bo Itachi was designated as a traitorous nin because he massacred his clan members. Sarutobi Hiruzen and the other senior officials didn't know what the Uchiha clan was going crazy about, but they would naturally seize this opportunity to target Uchiha Itachi openly. No matter what the other party's plan is, after all, Uchiha Itachi is now standing on the opposite side of the village and has become a force that cannot be ignored by the Uchiha clan. Now there is a wanted reward. As long as his senior officials don't nod, Uchiha Itachi, it would never be possible to return to the Uchiha clan again. Of course, this kind of division of Uchiha's power was something that Sarutobi Hiruzen and the senior officials were happy to see. Without saying a word, they directly issued a bounty equivalent to 3 Asumas. Seeing that Sarutobi Hiruzen and the senior executives were with such obvious targeting, Uchiha Fugaku had no choice but to leave sadly. Seeing Uchiha Fugaku leaving with an unhappy expression, the 3 people in the Hokage's office also looked at each other and smiled in tacit understanding. After laughing, Mito Kadoyan took the lead in analyzing the current situation. Now that Uchiha Itachi has left, the only high-end power of the Uchiha clan is Uchiha Fugaku and Uchiha Minga. As mentioned before, Uchiha Nanga is just a wise brat. Considering his age, even if he has the Mangekyo Sharingan, battery life will be his biggest shortcoming. We can continue to follow the previous plan and think about it first, a way to deal with Uchiha Fugaku. As long as Uchiha Fugaku disappears, he will be the only brat left. It's okay if he retreats. If he continues to be stubborn and unclear, we don't need to worry about anything. Quote. After Mito Kaiden's analysis, the senior management has determined that Uchiha Minagawa is not the kind of person who will fight to the end. Now that Uchiha Itachi has left, as long as Uchiha Fugaku is killed, Uchiha Minagawa will not see Uchiha continue to survive. If there is no hope of going on, he will naturally choose to protect himself and leave on his own. Uchiha Nanga is not as good as Uchiha Fugaku. Uchiha Fugaku hides the Mangekyo Sharingan and seems to be wily and scheming, but the top management of Konoha has already figured out his character. In the end, he is just a very patient being. Plus the other party is it is impossible for the Uchiha clan leader to give up on the Uchiha clan, so there is no room for relaxation. Judging from Uchiha Nanga's ability to hide his own strength and calmly deal with his calculations, Konoha's senior management judged that he was a smart and cautious person. Coupled with the opponent's weird pupil technique, it would be difficult for a sneak attack and assassination to be effective. If you want to deal with him, you can only choose to fight head-on. This will inevitably attract the attention of other ninjas and other village spies in the village. In addition, the opponent has the Mangekyo Sharingan. Once he uses the Susanoo, which is known as the power of God, if it does, both the movement and destructive power it causes will be very large. In that case, we have to consider the loss of the village and the face of the higher-ups. Coupled with his weird pupil ability, it is very likely that the opponent will slip away in the end, and the gain will not be worth the loss. Therefore, Sarutobi Hiruzen and other senior officials did not think about leaving Uchiha Minagawa to do the thankless task, so they had no choice but to kill Uchiha Fugaku first, thus forcing the other party to leave on their own. Yes, but Uchiha Fugaku is not easy to deal with. As the leader of the clan, he has been in the clan for a long time. Moreover, since Uchiha Itachi betrayed us, there has been no internal support for us in the Uchiha clan. We must also avoid Uchiha Minami to prevent the two from joining forces. Therefore, if you want to take action against him, you have to find another good opportunity. Quote. Kaharu had a worried look on his face when he went to bed, thinking that even dealing with Uchiha Fugaku would not be easy. This emotion was also conveyed to Mito Kadoin's face. Hiruzen Sarutobi looked at the frowning expressions of his two old friends, and murmured in his heart. He didn't know if they really didn't think of a way, or if they were waiting for him, the Hokage, to take the initiative to propose it. He sighed deeply. After all, he could never go back to the past. At this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen particularly missed his good partner Shimura Danzo. This kind of unattractive matter should be brought up by him at this time. These two old friends, after all, I wasn't conscious enough, I was too selfish, and I didn't really inherit the teacher's will of fire. Thinking that all these things will be handled by himself in the future, he couldn't help but sigh in his heart again, and became more determined to get rid of the Uchiha clan. After waiting for a long time, no one in the office spoke, so Sarutobi Hiruzen had no choice but to tell his own solution. Well, actually it is not difficult to let Uchiha Fugaku act alone. After all, he is still the captain of the security department. We only need to send people to create some chaos in the village and attract him outside the village. We will have enough time to deal with it. The other party. Hearing that Sarutobi Hiruzen finally spoke up to relieve the somewhat awkward atmosphere in the office, Kaharu and Mito Kadoin also breathed a sigh of relief and immediately nodded in agreement. Well, as expected of Hokage, you still have a way to solve the problem that the two of us have been puzzled by so easily. As a result, Uchiha Fugaku could only leave the village obediently, and Uchiha Nanga was still a student at the ninja school and had no chance to follow him out of the village. At that time, even if the opponent brought several members of the security department to pursue him, it's harmless. Quote. Kaharu was the most impatient when he went to bed, and immediately stood up to praise Sarutobi Hiruzen, with obvious flattery. It has to be you, Hiruzen, we still need you to lead us at this critical moment. This can be regarded as revenge for Danzo. The unstable factor of the Uchiha clan has always been a thorn in his side. Quote. However, Uchiha Fugaku has activated the Mangekyo Sharingan after all. According to records, the opponent should also be able to display Uchiha's legendary divine power. I'm afraid the battle will be quite loud by then. In order not to upset him even if there is suspicion, we can't attract him very far away, so we have to fight quickly. Therefore, it is best to recall Jiraiya and Tsunade. If they take action together, they can ensure that the battle can be ended quickly and that possible unexpected situations can be dealt with. Quote. Mito Kaden was not as direct as Kaharu when he went to bed. After complimenting Hiruzen Sarutobi tactfully, he still put forward constructive suggestions to check for leaks and fill them. This is also the reason why Sarutobi Hiruzen can tolerate their decentralization. Like the members of the second Hokage Shadow Guard, Akamichi Torafu and Uchiha Kagami have not been able to enter their high-level circle. It is not because of their strength behind Sarutobi Hiruzen. The support for becoming Hokage was not enough, simply because they did not have the awareness to follow Sarutobi's lead and kill him. Don't be so optimistic. Even if the Uchiha clan has second thoughts, when the other party is not really completely rebellious, with the temperament of Jiraiya and Tsunade, it is impossible for them to participate in the siege of their companions in the village. And even if they really rebelled, they would probably persuade me to let the ordinary Uchiha people go. At that time, the most I can do is promise them to kill only the culprit Uchiha Fugaku and spare the other Uchiha members before they can help block Uchiha Minami. Quote. Sarutobi Hiruzen knew his two disciples very well, which was why they were not recalled in the previous genocide plan. However, Sarutobi Hiruzen did not doubt the love of the two disciples for the Leaf Village. Whether it was Jiraiya who was like a prodigal son, or Tsunade who had been away from the village for a long time without any news. As long as someone really threatened the village existence, they will definitely be the first to rush to the front. This was also the reason why Sarutobi Hiruzen was confident in persuading the two of them to take action to stop Uchiha Minagawa, but it was not easy to explain to them the subsequent destruction of the Uchiha clan. You are the Hokage of the village. Do we really want to let the Uchiha clan go as promised? Then wouldn't all our efforts over the years be in vain? Mito Katoin and Kaharu, who had transferred to the dormitory, also looked relieved when they heard that Sarutobi Hiruzen was confident in persuading Jiraiya and Tsunade to stop Uchiha Minami. But thinking that letting them take action requires the personal commitment of Sarutobi Hiruzen, the Hokage, he couldn't help but feel a little worried. He proposed that the two of them would persuade them. Even if the Uchiha clan was destroyed in the end, Sarutobi Hiruzen's Hokage credibility would not be lost. But this proposal was directly rejected by Sarutobi Hiruzen. It's impossible. After so much, they have their own judgments. Only the promise made by me, the teacher and Hokage, can they completely believe it. Don't worry, they will eventually understand me as a teacher, just like Jiraiya understands Naruto's treatment over the years. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.